next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
And we're back. It's Crunch Time here on Woodward Sports on a Tuesday. It's August 4th. We're back in the studio. We were on remote yesterday.
Come on now.
We got KG back in the mix. Jeff Iafrate, Booner, Caleb Czarnik as well. Big day because we're recapping the Detroit Tigers trade deadline. Bijan Robinson signed his extension. What does it mean for Jahmyr Gibbs? So many things have came out already from Detroit Lions training camp. And we're going to have Rajon, Rogelio Castillo, who does a great job covering the Detroit Tigers, on the show to kind of share his thoughts as well on the Detroit Tigers trade deadline. I can't wait. We've finally been waiting for this Bijan ball to drop, and it dropped this morning. He got paid, and it was right in the ballpark of the number we were talking about on our show. We talked about he wasn't going to get paid, a couple $100,000 more than Saquon. We felt this all coming. It's going to be a couple $1 million more. This is a player in Bijan who feels he's a weapon. He's going to get paid like a weapon, couple $1 million more, and reset the market. And, we'll get into it. We have a ton of clips from Dan. He was asked about the extension. But it's finally here, boys.
It happened. The Bijan thing, it kind of just questions now, like, when is Jahmyr's going to get done? Is it going to be today, tomorrow? I think it feels like that's what they were waiting for. And yesterday we talked about it on the show where Gibbs kind of comes out. It gets reported. What was the exact quote from him? Talking about, hey, do you need a contract to play? And he's like, it's not about that. Like, so you probably were just sitting there assuming it's probably about waiting for a Bijan situation to fall and kind of the dominoes to fall with that. Now it's Lions are on the clock. 3 years, 75 to 25. He reset the market, fully reset the market, and that was exactly what I said a couple weeks ago when I said Jalen Carter reset the market. Who's the wide receiver that just did it recently? Was it JSN?
JSN did sign recently.
It's him, but you saw like Micah Parsons reset the edge market, and you just keep seeing a lot of these players fully resetting markets, not by $1 million or $2 million, but by $5, $6+ million in a massive jump. Whether that's because of the salary cap, whatever it is.
TV contract.
Whatever it is, they think that, these markets kind of just keep getting pushed more and more up. And the last few times markets have been reset when it comes to specific position groups, it's not only been by $1 million, it's been by $5+ million. And that's what happened with Bijan today. So you would only expect that Jahmyr is going to try and push for a similar deal.
Well, I'm glad you said that. It does answer this question from Born Again Gamer John O. He says, so is Gibbs going to get more or less? Doesn't the first guy to sign usually indicate biggest contract and all the others trickle down? No, not necessarily. I think in this scenario it's different because Gibbs and Bijan are in basically the same position. Mm-hmm. They're both very, very good running backs. It reminds me of when Jamar and Justin Jefferson were both getting contracts. It's the same exact situation where one's going to sign and the other's going to jump the other guy. That's how that goes. If it was different and Gibbs was maybe looked at as like a, top 10 running back, maybe it'd be a little different where it's like, all right, dude, you're not resetting the market. This is different. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to reset the market, and if he was not going to do that, I would assume the contract would have already been signed, or at least you would have heard something about them, coming closer to a deal. We do have the clip from Dan Campbell. He was asked about it. Dave Burkett asked him.
No clip.
I sent it. I sent the clip. You just have to download it. It's in
You got this, Caleb. Is it there?
Yeah, I did send it.
Oh,
regardless, we'll get the clip. But basically, Dave asked Dan about the Bijan contract, and Dan didn't really comment too much on it, but it does speed this whole thing up. Okay, it does. And I was trying to prepare Lions fans for this scenario. You have to get comfortable paying Gibbs probably. I know that the money came out. It was like 3 for $75, I think it was.
Yeah.
So people see that. But if you really dive into the numbers, it's like
Guaranteed.
22 and a quarter,
Yeah.
I think is like the AAV. It looks like 25 initially. Yeah. And I have to see like the cap, all the stuff with the cap stuff that hasn't came out yet. But it's $51 million guaranteed. It's the highest number for any running back. It's a position record. And I think the AAV right now is like 22 and a quarter, I think, or 25, somewhere in that range. So it's a lot of money. He resets the market, and I'll say it again, like, guys know where I stand with it. We can debate it. We can argue it. We're not going to get anywhere really with it. You guys know I'm not putting $20-something million into the running back position. I'm just not doing that. Okay, and I argued with Easy this morning, and I'll nominate, shout out to Easy. He might be, we get asked this all the time, who's the most frustrating person to argue with? It's Easy.
Nice.
It's
yeah,
Easy.
I mean,
he's
and
one
I
of,
love
for
Easy.
sure.
I love you so much, but we were talking about it in our group chat. We got another group chat, and Lucas Klotz and Easy are obviously very pro Gibbs. So is everybody on the network, and I'm fully aware of that. Okay, I'm not saying these guys are crazy for that. They're pro Gibbs, just like a lot of fans are, and it's okay. I get it. But the reasoning they were trying to push back on hey, I'm not putting $25 million into a running back when our defense stinks, and it's just irresponsible. You're spending $175 million into your offense already, and we're going to dump more money into our offense when our defense stinks. Easy's response was, well, give me the player you'd sign right now for the money. That's not the argument. I'm not going to – right now in August, there's Jeff Iafrate available, okay, KG available, Caleb Czarnik available, and Booner available. My point is, it's not right now is the fix. It's for the future, saving money to allocate towards the defense. That's what I believe, personally. I would rather put the money elsewhere. But if you disagree with that, then fine. But all I'll say is this. If you're cool with paying him $3, $4, $5 million a year annually, and even if it's spread out or whatever, Brad Holmes does some magician magic with it, you're still going to owe him what you owe him, which is probably going to be $80 million, roughly.
Yeah, it's still going to hit the cap.
And
at
that's
some
fine.
point.
If you want to do that, fine.
Yeah.
But all I said to Easy this morning and Lucas and all the people that are like, oh, just give him the blank check and sign him for whatever. I don't want to hear you complain when we're a year or two down the line and we're saying, man, we got no money. Why are we need a good defense. It's not just Gibbs. There's other things that come into play too. It's not just Gibbs, but he is part of that as well. It's all the money that you're continuing to put in the offense when you can't stop a nosebleed on defense. That's the point I'm making. And if you disagree with it and you want to pay Gibbs, pay him whatever he wants, fine. That's fine. But you have to at least understand why I feel this way.
Yeah.
When you have one of the most expensive offenses and everyone's like, well, our defense sucks, we need a better defense. But let's max out another player on offense. That's where I'm at with it.
I agree. I said I in this group chat too. I mean, I brought it up, and I'm kind of too. I'm not even, and this is the weirdest or craziest thing to say. I'm not even on fully a side of, hey, pay Gibbs all this money or don't pay Gibbs. I'm kind of in this middle ground where it's like, I understand both sides. Like, I understand them being like, hey, you have to keep a weapon like Jahmyr Gibbs in this offense. You have to pay him. Now, am I also on the side of like $25 million is a lot? And Atlanta and the Falcons, they're able to easily say, here you go, Bijan. Here's $25 million. Here's $80 or $50 million guaranteed. Here's a $75 million deal. Because we don't really have to pay anyone else besides like a Kyle Pitts, a Drake London maybe. Like
Tua is your quarterback.
Yeah,
like,
there's no one really else there. You're sitting there having to pay and put money towards it. So like for me, it's like I understand Jeff's side, I understand Easy's side, but realistically, like the middle of this whole situation with the Gibbs stuff, it goes back, and this thing is like way farther rooted than people think. This goes back to paying J-Mo, your wide receiver 2, top tier wide receiver money. This goes back to paying Lee McNeil, a top, you could say 15 defensive tackle, top 5 money. It goes back to paying contracts out to people where they're going to be or where they're projected to be and not being there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're paying top tier money at other positions that you could probably go out and draft and replace. Like, you literally just replaced, you drafted Tyreek, who isn't a lean replacement, essentially. You drafted Tesla, and you used capital to go get your replacement for J-Mo. Like, you did that, but you also paid guys. So now you're in a really weird spot, and this is where I'm on the opposite side where I see Jeff's point. Hey, man, like, the cap only does go up to a certain amount. And if you pay Jahmyr Gibbs $25 million, guess what? You're putting over $80 million, which is almost 30% of your whole cap, towards 3 weapons on your offense. To where you look at it and you go, hey, how do you win a Super Bowl? Defense. We've seen that with the Seahawks. We've seen that with the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs had Mahomes, but they always had elite defenses. You've seen the Rams defense when they were great. You saw the Eagles defense when they won the Super Bowl. Like, that's what it is. And then Easy's like, well, and this is Jeff. This is where I stuck up for Jeff a little bit, even though I'm on the side of, hey, I do understand why people want to pay Gibbs. You save that money, and Easy's like, well, who are you going to get? Who are you going to get? To me, that's the worst argument to ever have in these situations. You can't say, who are you going to get? Well, let me tell you what. Let's break this money up. You could have kept Alex Anzalone. you could have also brought back Carlton Davis instead of DJ Reed. And then you still have more money to go out there and go into free agency and maybe spend a little bit more and get one of those $10 million edge rushers that Brad's had to be super cautious about because he's had to pay other guys. So it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with like, hey, are you going to give Jahmyr this money? It has to do with all these other contracts that Brad Holmes has handed out that you're sitting there going, now you handcuffed yourself fully because of other contracts, and now we have this conversation with the Gibbs deal. And that's where the issue kind of is rooted. And you have to kind of look at it a little subjectively and be like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Well, Brad dug himself his own hole there.
Well, to say what Easy's argument is basically what Neil does when people don't want to pay Duren. Give me a center. Give me a center. It's not. It's about you don't want to give the money to Duren. Okay, that's the problem. And Easy, you know about that argument because you don't want to pay Duren. But when Neil says, give me the center, you're like, what? Why? The point is, I don't want to spend money on Jalen Duren, and you have the right to feel that way. But to say your response is give me the name right now, if you can't understand the simple concept of I don't want to put more money into one of the most expensive offenses in the league, when if you go back the last 10, 20 years, I'll give you a homework assignment easy. You're going to do it at 5 o'clock anyway and probably crap all over the take. I'll give you something to do before the show. Go look up the last 20 Super Bowl winners, and you give me their starting running back. Okay? That's a homework assignment you can talk about all day, 5 to 7. And you tell me how many of those running backs are getting paid $25 million, okay? Have fun with that one. And tell me where their defense ranks, scoring defense. That's a great homework assignment. Because if you want to go with Goff or say, in the past, hey, Goff's not good enough, we're paying Goff too much money, fine. Who do we get? Isn't that a frustrating thing to respond? It's like, well, what quarterback are we getting then? Give me the quarterback right now that we should get over Jared Goff. Like, hey, Neil does that. I love Neil. But it's like, well, that's not the argument. I can't give you a freaking replacement right. I understand where people get frustrated with that. So I don't get it. I don't understand it. If you want to pay Gibbs, I'm cool with that. But the response of like, okay, then what player are you signing right now for $26 million? If you can't understand, you put the money towards players on defense, and people seem to understand it. You did clearly. Lucas did. Even
you could break it down. Whether you disagree with it or not, it's a financial fact that, hey, if you don't pay your running back $26 million, $25 million, you will have more money to allocate. This is how you budget money. You allocate money to different spots, whether it's on the roster or where it is on the roster, whether it's offense, defense, the trenches, whatever it is, you have to choose that. And again, it's the same conversation like when people are like, hey, we don't want to pay Goff, we want a different. Okay, then Easy, if you want, like Easy is the one saying, oh, who? Okay, so when you want to replace Goff, who? Like, we can hit you. It's the same conversation. Who?
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not comparing Duren and Gibbs at all.
No, it's more so comparing the concept of the
comparing
situation.
the people that say I don't want to pay Duren, and the response is like, well, then what center are you getting? What center are you getting? That's irresponsible. That's ridiculous.
See, Easy says we all understand Bubba, but we just don't agree. First off, don't call anyone Bubba. Like that means you're losing the conversation. When you pull Bubba out, that means I know you understand you are a loser in the situation, bud. So don't ever say that again. And I know you do it to get people mad, but it's disrespectful. So have a little respect for people. And also, you don't you don't understand because we do both. Like you and Jeff do disagree. If you understood, you would stop saying who. Because that's the whole point. It has nothing to do with who. It has to do with allocating the money. It has nothing to do with the who. You keep bringing up the who.
Yeah, he's completely
like
off base. And I can't. I mean, I'm sure they're going to do a great show, 5 to 7. They're going to do great, but he's just going to talk out of his ass. If he thinks that's the point that we're making, he's completely off
also,
base.
too, it's the same thing like a couple days ago when Spenny was like, give Gibbs a blank check. I don't care. Like, dude, are we like that irresponsible with our front offices? Like, we complain about GMs in this town being irresponsible, but then we're also telling GMs to give out blank checks. Dude, I swear to God, I don't care how good of a player you are. If I'm a GM, I would never just be like, you could be Patrick Mahomes. We have to negotiate. This is the NFL. Like, it's a business. You know how much leverage you lose with other contracts if you just say, here's a blank check. Like, that's a fan thing to say. That's a slappy thing to say, blank check. Like, if you're in media and you're in front offices, you should never say the word blank check. Like, it's a front office. Negotiate. Get the best deal for your organization. They just lost Tarek Skubal because they didn't go out there and negotiate the correct way. And you could be like, well, they could have kept him with a blank check. That would have hurt the organization in the future because if you have another good player, guess what that player's going to want? A blank check. You don't just hand out blank checks in the major league sports. That's not how this world works. You have to negotiate and get the best deal, whether it's term, contract, guaranteed money, whatever it is. You have to go out there and negotiate. You can't. If you're Brad Holmes, you can't just be like, oh, no, he's sitting out for a practice. Here's a blank check because we need you back at practice. No, dude. Go work with their agent and negotiate a little bit and figure out the right deal for both sides.
It's smart, and I'm sure.
Stop being a fan, dude.
Again, looking at it from Brad's perspective, do I think Gibbs will get signed? Yes,
of course
he will be. But clearly, he's going to get signed.
Yeah.
Whether I disagree with it or not, and whether or not I want the money to go elsewhere. And we've had this. This is why easy, and you could say we understand. Hey, it's you. You do not understand, because we've had this argument plenty of times. KG hates my take, and guess what KG does? He gets it.
I do.
And he says, I get it, but I disagree with it. Caleb, I don't know. I think Caleb's more pro Gibbs.
I'm pro Gibbs.
Okay, that's fair. We got two guys over there that are pro Gibbs. And Booner, I'm the only one on the show that it does not want to allocate the money to a running back, and we still are able to communicate through it. So, easy. I don't know what you're smoking. Is it the Mad Packs, the Boom Shakalakas?
Well, it's just a fact.
Those
If you
things
don't
are
pay
legit,
someone,
though.
you have money, then you can allocate it to whoever you want.
Yeah.
And you don't. It's like I brought it up. I texted Easy this. I said it's like Brad, like Sheila asking Brad, hey, what's your if Sheila went to Brad and Brad made a decision for the future of the organization for the next 2 to 3 years, and Brad goes, I'm making this decision to help us out 2 or 3 years down the line, right? And what if Sheila went up to him and is like, okay, in 3 years, who's a free agent that we can get? Well, Sheila, I can't give you that because people are going to get deals done, and I can't. I'm setting us up financially for the future. I can't predict who's going to ask for a trade, who's going to, be in the free agent market. I can't predict that right now. Well, no, Brad, you can't make that move because you didn't give me an exact name. No, that's not how this game works. You set yourself up for the future to have money to be able to allocate and put it in different spots, so when opportunities approach, you're able to do so. Or when Anzo, wants a 2-year deal worth $8 million or whatever it is, you're able to do that. Or if Carlton Davis costs $3 extra million, you don't have to walk away from him because of $3 extra million.
Yeah, it's a very, very simple concept. A lot of money on offense. Mm-hmm. This is the offense. A lot of cash into the offense. This is the defense. I want to take some of this cash and put it into the defense. What does that mean? You can decipher that however you want. Over the next couple of years, in the future, let's put some more money into the defense. Because what? Defenses win championships. So I don't want to keep maxing out players on offense. I don't. Okay.
Do you think that people
That's it. That's all I'm saying. And if that's hard to understand, and then the running back stuff ties on top of that. Obviously, you guys know how I feel about running backs, but that's the big. I'm trying to
right.
all due respect, simplify it. That is basically the argument. So if people like KG and Caleb are like, no, Gibbs is that guy, fair. You want to pay him? Cool. No issue with that. I disagree with it. That's fine.
Yeah, do you think people think it's awesome that we're going to have 80% of our salary cap towards the offense and we just have the best offense in the league? I just feel like that's not the best thing.
Yeah,
you want to be able to have it.
That's
as
the way
even
they
as
want to do it.
possible.
That's
KG's
the
been saying
commitment
it.
that they've made.
No, KG's
they have
he's
for
been saying
sure.
it. That's the way Brad has wanted to build the entire football team out.
And unfortunately, just every contract is not going to be perfect. It was always going to be a risky play, paying a running back of Jahmyr Gibbs' caliber, because anything can happen. He could get hurt as soon as he signs the damn thing. He could go injure his ankle, never be the same player, and now you asked out.
Right.
So, I totally understand Jeff's point. I just think that, some contracts you do have to take a risk on. And if I'm going to take a risk on somebody, I would much rather it be somebody that's a top 2 player at their position and somebody that we've kind of tendered our offense around as opposed to anyone else. But I totally see your point.
Yeah.
I just think you should pay him. You're too far along now.
I'm in the middle where I'm fine if they pay him. I don't like the 25, 26 million.
Right.
I'm sitting there hey, I was fine with 21 or whatever it is. It's just, for me, the concept just keeps going back to you've paid all these other players that probably you didn't There had to have been. Then this is what's shocking to me is we've had how many conversations the last few years about Brad where it's you kind of have to choose between some guys.
That's the real
And you
point.
have to look into the future. And some of these guys you're going to have to let go and let walk. And he hasn't done it yet. And now you're in a spot to where with Gibbs you're going to have to pay him, right? You should have at some point let some of these guys walk in the past. Whether you're a fan or not and you like these players, because I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of J-Mo.
Yeah.
That's a big contract. When Aleem, as much as people might not think, when he's playing at his best, love his game. That's a big contract. And when you start looking at those contracts and then you're like, oh, well, you need to pay the best running back in football, then yeah, looking back, those ones hurt you a little bit more because you paid guys top-tier money that probably will never get to that top tier for you.
Yeah.
And then maybe they will on different teams. J-Mo will be a wide receiver 1 on a different team, but you paid him that money, and he probably won't get there because he has Amon-Ra that kind of holds him back a little because Amon-Ra is going to get those targets. So it's a hindsight thing for sure, but Brad should have approached that differently, and I get he wants to pay his guys. But now you're in a spot to where that money is like, it's small. And then we're playing with practice squad guys. We're playing with vet minimum guys. When if you don't kind of go about it that way, you can pay a little bit more you don't have to play with vet minimum guys every year.
Yeah, to me, that's the bigger point here. It's Brad Holmes' philosophy in this whole thing has kind of hamstrung you, or it will eventually, because he keeps finding ways to sign these guys. I will give him credit. He keeps finding a way, but it does seem like it's coming to the end of the road in terms of that conversation, especially when you look at just how the Aleem contract is played out, how the Kirby Joseph situation is playing out in front of our eyes right now. And you still got Brian Branch that's up. You still got Sam Laporta that is possibly up as well. It just seems like they won't be able to continue this. But for anybody that's mad about them paying the running backs, don't be mad at Gibbs. He went out there and did what he's supposed to do. You drafted him in the first round. He's come up and he's been an exceptional talent, and now he's going to officially be the workhorse back in this backfield. This is what you always wanted when you drafted him. It's just the fact that Brad has paid every single person that has either realized their potential or, like Booner says, it has still another level or two to get to, but we're going to pay him anyway just to get ahead of it. This is what you deal with when you do things like that, and it's an approach that not a lot of NFL teams that have won have taken. So, and that's where I understand your argument.
It's very balanced take from you, KG.
Yeah.
Very the fact that this is where I'm not. I'm not like KG, big pro Gibbs. Ben saying that.
Yeah.
And he still can decipher what I'm saying.
I think that's why people are in the chat. So some people are like, "Well, Booner, you're in the middle. Like you can't do that." Like, no, it is, because I see both sides.
There's caveats,
and I understand. Like, I understand the side.
Historically, paying running backs has not boded well.
But again, he is a weapon, so I do understand. Like this is where people it's crazy, because people get mad when I argue and we yell back and forth, and I'm on the opposite side. But then when I'm like, "Hey, I do actually understand. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. I understand it," and then people are like, "Oh, now you're on both." Like, come on, dude. And someone else, too, just to address. Someone said, Booner said J-Mo was on top-tier money. Obviously, he's not like what the market has moved to the $40 million, the 30-plus million. Amon-Ra's on a $30 million deal. J-Mo's on a 26.
Right.
Like, he's 4 less. J-Mo makes more than Nico Collins, who's a wide receiver 1. He makes the same as a Jalen Waddle, who's a wide receiver 1. Like, that's my point, is like, he's paid as a wide receiver 1, maybe a lower tier wide receiver 1, because of the way the market has moved. But when he did get paid, at that time, it was a higher tier wide receiver 2, low wide receiver 1 money.
Yeah.
So again, when you're allocating money, it's like, where are you allocating the money to? I'm a J-Mo guy. I think, again, wide receiver 1 on most teams. But when you want to be able to pay Jahmyr Gibbs and Penei, and like, it just
feel like rubber gonna meet the road at some point.
Something's gonna happen. But we keep saying that, and then somehow he just keeps paying people. But then you know what happens when you just keep paying people? The other position groups in the depth just gets weaker, because you can't afford to get depth.
Well, the problem is on defense right now you have, and this isn't even tied to Gibbs. I'm not saying like this is all of Gibbs' fault, but I'm just saying, because it's not. He's not supposed to get paid for like 2 years. So I'm not. Again, this is different, but just the reality of your defense. Like, dude, look at who you're bringing in. Like, Rock Ya-Sin's your number 2 corner. Like, let's be real here. Like. Yeah. It's looking grim. And the safety situation is because of injury. So I'm not even going to go like that way.
And TA just popped up. We understand. But you don't have the money for when shit pops up. You
don't. No, unfortunately, you don't. So let's play the clip, actually, from Dan Campbell talking about Bijan. Let's play the clip. Do you have it now? Yeah. Let's play it. Here's Dan Campbell responding to that the Bijan contract.
Here. Stay with the running back position real quick. The big news of the morning, Bijan Robinson got his extension. How much do you hope, or do you think that can expedite the process with Jahmyr today?
How much do I hope?
I mean, you anticipate.
Are you really asking that? How much do I hope it helps to get?
I think that Bijan getting his deal will speed up this process.
I mean, I think it's certainly not going to hurt. I mean, it's not going to hurt. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm anxious to get Gibbs back out there. Every day that goes by, that's another day that you feel like you miss with him, and getting him out there with the guys and him being doing his part. So, but there again, man, it'll get done when it gets done.
And there's Dan Campbell. It's going to get done when it gets done. So they're going to work out an extension for Gibbs. Okay, so that's not me like predicting they're not going to do that. I do applaud Brad for being, I don't know if careful is the right word. Maybe it is the right word, but just being taking his time with it. I do appreciate that.
I got mad earlier this week when Spenny was like the blank check thing. It's like, hey, at the end of the day, like, I get we want him on the field. you want your GM to be this way.
Of course.
You do not want your GM just to roll over and just be like, yeah, you're the best in the league. Here you go.
Right.
Like that's the only thing like I veer off on a little bit. And then like again, I'm fine with paying Gibbs. Jeff is out on it. I'm fine with it. I just don't want Brad just to roll over and be like, oh, Bijan 25, here's 26. Like, dude, like try and get the best deal you can.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, man, you have to move these pennies around, man, and you're sitting there and you're really, really making sure that every single deal you do going forward has to be in the benefit of the Detroit Lions. And I think as well, too, guys like Jahmyr understands that.
Yeah.
Now, what I love, and I know people, whatever, like, I would love Jahmyr to be like, you know what, I'll sign a team-friendly deal. Jack Campbell did it. We've seen players around the league do it. Josh Allen did it. Patrick Mahomes has done it. We've seen the Tom. Like, yeah, would you love that? But you can't, like, sit there and hate a guy for wanting to get his money.
Yeah, and
like,
you can't expect him to take low.
No, you can't. And like, dude, like, I'm a pro. Like, players deserve their money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the second deal, especially for a running back, is probably one of the biggest contracts he'll get in his career, and especially to Jeff's point, how running backs get hurt and the life of their lifespan of their position. I understand why that second deal is the most important deal. So like, you want him to go out there and get that, but again, let's find a middle ground here and let's get a deal done. And that's where I'm at with it. Instead of just being like, here you go, Gibbs, get whatever you want. You're the best running back in the league here. Like, no, come on, man.
Let's take a break. Is Easy on?
No, not yet.
Let's take a break.
Oh, is he going to show up?
Let's take a break.
Link sent.
This is going to be
sent.
Easy versus Jeff.
Yeah, because we need to find out
Jeff.
where he's even at. Well, like, what the hell are you talking about?
I texted him in the group chat before. I said I will be the Herb Dean, and I'll be in the middle.
All right, good.
We got Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Planet Fitness, because they got over 60 locations throughout Metro Detroit, so they're always close to you. The Planet Fitness High School Summer Pass is back and live until August 31st. Teens 14 and 19 can work out at Planet Fitness for free all summer long. Register online at planetfitness.com.
For more Detroit Tigers coverage, make sure you subscribe to Woodward Tigers on YouTube. All Tigers, all the time. For the hardcore Detroit sports fans who can't get enough of the Motor City's teams. All season long, you'll get non-stop Tigers content from on-field interviews, post-game reactions, and roundtable insight from Woodward Sports.
It is Joey with Woodward Sports, and in 2017, I trusted Dr. Yeldo with my eyes, and it was the best decision I've ever made. No more glasses or contacts, just clear vision every single day.
Hi, I'm Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. If I had LASIK back in the day, I probably would have won 8 Stanley Cups. So if you're thinking about LASIK, do it now. Tell them, Doc.
Come see me. You have nothing to lose. It's a free consultation.
For a limited time, LASIK only $19.99 per eye. Call Yeldo Eye Center. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you. But please don't wait like I did. Call them now.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Jahmyr Gibbs, breakout season, loading.
Inside the 5, Gibbs to the end zone, touchdown!
Woodward Sports, the most dominant Detroit sports coverage around.
All right, we are excited to welcome Icon Auto Repair and Collision to our Woodward Sports family, guys. If you've ever been in an accident or your vehicle, if it needs repairs, make sure you trust the team over at Icon Auto Repair and Collision, guys. They have 3 convenient Metro Detroit locations. You can see them all on the screen there: Madison Heights, Shelby Township, and Pontiac. They also offer free car loaners and even offer to pay your deductible. You can visit iconauto.com or call that number above me, and it's the Icon that you can count on.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports, talking about Bijan getting his extension. What does it mean for Detroit Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs, who has been out during training camp?
We have some super chats. Just want to clean these up. Eduardo O'Neill gave $5. Said,
shout out.
Team tag and tag defense needs too much. I don't know what that means, but needs too much help to spend $25 million plus on a running back when your defense has cost you every year under Dan Campbell.
Oh,
So he's on your side. I didn't say that. Said gave $2. Said I would sign Caleb over Jeff to a max.
Damn.
I agree.
I can play still.
I think Caleb has all world potential.
Now, what about this? Michael Weary said, what do you guys think about a Gibbs 4 years, $80 million deal? I'm fine with that. I think $20 million, like, I think that's fine. That 25, 26 million,
Well,
I know it's a couple mil, but like.
It's probably going to be 3 because they're probably going to include like Bijan, the 5th-year option.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it'll be.
That reminded me. You said something earlier in the show, most ever guaranteed by a running back. Just going to correct you on that.
Oh, he wasn't.
It is not.
Who has the most?
Take a guess.
Saquon?
Did you guys hear me, by the way, or did my headset just go out?
No,
Saquon
okay. Not Saquon. You will never guess.
James Cook.
Jeremiah Love, $53 million guaranteed.
Oh, because he was drafted highest. Okay.
Wow.
Got it.
So he was $53 million guaranteed.
Got it.
Bijan's 51-ish.
So
I'm still waiting for this contract.
Jeremiah got drafted in.
That's crazy.
He's getting the most
For
guaranteed.
no O-line. That's crazy.
and I think reports out of training camp was he wasn't even getting like. I could be wrong with this. I thought I saw he wasn't even getting full first team reps that James Conner was.
Yeah,
still.
that's ridiculous. The whole like
53
let's make him earn it,
guaranteed.
Bro. It's Jeremiah Love.
Yeah,
Right.
you got to give him every first team rep.
Malfeasance.
You
No
can.
disrespect to James Conner, but
Has Easy shown up, by the way?
No, he's here.
Okay.
Oh, let's bring him in.
I don't know
Let's
if he
bring him
was
in.
like. I don't know if he was.
So we'll
Easy ain't ducking no smoke.
This is Jeff Iafrate versus Easy.
Hey,
Easy ain't ducking no smoke. That's my guy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So
I
by the
was
way,
audio on these things. I was at the gym.
oh, you're fine. Damn, you left the gym
All right.
to join.
Yeah, it's right here. Yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
just got there for real.
All right, so let's just get this. Let's set let's just set it out there. Okay, lay it out for the people.
All right.
You tell me how you feel. You don't have to give too much away because you're going to talk about it on your show. Obviously, I don't want to save that stuff for your guys' show. But how do you feel about this Gibbs extension? Kind of lay it out so that way we can just get the people can get full context of what's going on. So how do you feel about paying Gibbs more than Bijan?
More than Bijan's gonna suck. And it's gonna be brutal. Not ideal. 25 plus million is fucking like not fun at all. But I mean, realistically, what's going on with the Detroit Lions is they are within the Super Bowl window. They're within striking distance. I don't know that they're necessarily contending the same stance they were in 2024, but you can argue that this is like the closest they've been in quite a long time. And you have all the main pieces already on the contract right now. It makes no sense to let a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs go. I understand not wanting to pay a running back. Wholeheartedly, fully understand that. That's why I don't understand where we're getting like, he doesn't understand. No, I fully understand. I just don't agree. Like, this is not just a running back also. This is a guy named Jahmyr Gibbs getting considered a top 3 running back of the game. Another thing, just mathematically, the cap goes up 6 to 8% every single year. That $26 million, if it is $26 million, God help us if it is, but if it is $26 million, it ain't hitting 26 straight onto the books, right? It's going to be divvied out. There's going to be void years. It's going to be stretched out. On top of that, too, God bless him, love him. We talked about in this show. We talked about in our show. The Kirby Joseph situation ain't looking pretty, but the Kirby Joseph contract, there's an out. There's money you're saving right there too. Like money, like it's not killing you to pay Jahmyr Gibbs. It's just not like a death sentence for the Detroit Lions. I just don't understand like where we're being mad about it and we want to spend it on defense. And okay, cool. Where are you spending that money on defense? You can't just say, yeah, just spend it on defense. You can't just say that. Like if I'm Brad Holmes, and Brad Holmes sitting in the room with Sheila Ford Hamp, the owner of Detroit Lions, he's like, yeah, I'm actually gonna let go of one of the best players in the NFL. And she was like, okay, what's the game plan? Oh, we're just going to see. We're going to spend it on defense. We're just going to see. Like, no, there needs to be a game plan. That's why you got to have names. That's what Booner is sitting there like he's like, she's going to let him go and it's that's it. We're going to see in the future. That's not how that conversation works at all, especially as a GM. You think long term.
So here, okay, and I understand you kind of. I feel like at the beginning there we're not that far apart, but then the whole problem I have is the name thing. Like, here's my argument, and I know you understand this. The Lions are, 6th in the NFL in highest, most expensive offenses, okay? They're ranked 6th. Yeah. 6th
Correct.
in the NFL. And we're talking about the same team over the last handful of years. In 2025, they were the 31st ranked overall defense. Overall, 2024, 25th, 2023, 18th, 2022, 27th, 2021, 30th, 2020, 17th. We're talking about an offense that has been top 5, if not higher, the last handful of years. So we know what the offense is. I love Gibbs. I do. I love Gibbs. But I think with 2 years left on his contract, to make him the highest paid running back is irresponsible, given you are a top 6 highest paid offense, and that's going to increase when you pay Gibbs. I understand you could shape the contract however you want. My point is, and you mentioned Kirby, like, yeah, I understand there's an out in Kirby, but so we're going to take more money away from the defense and put it into the offense. And you tell me to name names, Easy, like, you have to understand the concept. It's not about name. And we're in August. You know, bro, there's no one available. And Jahmyr isn't going to be up for 2 years. So you're looking at 2028, which is fine. We can have that conversation. My point is I just want the flexibility to improve my defense. I do. And I think making Gibbs the highest paid running back hurts that. And if you disagree with that, I don't know what to tell you. Like, making him the highest paid running back hurts you from a salary cap perspective. Even if it goes up, he's still affecting your salary cap to put more resources into the defense. That's what I'm not understanding.
Paying anyone hurts you, but you're more likely to pay someone who's a top 5 player at his position, top 3 player at his position. The other thing too is that money's not going to kick in until 2028 because, yeah, you're correct. There's 2 more years on that, meaning that's going to be a discount come that year, given the fact, again, 6 to 8% every single year that salary cap increases, right? You also have the fact that the money's divvied up. Like paying a contract like that to a running back isn't going to hurt you. Paying a contract like that to a quarterback is different. The values are so much drastically more different, right? The running back market is undervalued for a reason. $25 million these days is not a lot. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm spending on the defense. Who are these guys I'm spending on the defense? Defensive contracts cost that just as much or more. And I can't guarantee you that player or those players can be just as impactful as Jahmyr Gibbs is right now on your team.
But here's the thing, though, Easy. Like, what is more important to winning a Super Bowl? That's my question. The defense being elite or the offense being elite? That's the basis of this entire discussion. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. And you said the Lions are in a Super Bowl window. They're not winning a Super Bowl, bro, with that defense. They're not. I don't even agree with that take. They're not in a Super Bowl window because that defense sucks on paper. You're not winning a Super Bowl with Rock Ya-Sin as your number 2 corner. You're not. Like, you're just not. So with your injuries, your safeties, I get all that on top of that. But, like, an elite defense, we're trying to get this defense to a top 5 unit in the NFL. How do we get there, Easy? How do we get there?
So we got Devon Witherspoon, who mainly plays nickel for the Seattle Seahawks. Can you name me the other cornerbacks?
That played corner for the Seattle. What, you want to go through the defense as all 11? All 11.
No, the cornerbacks.
Their number 1 and number 2 corner last year, Tariq Woolen, who just signed for $15 million to the Eagles last year, and Tariq didn't play too bad in the playoffs. And they got another corner that they really like over there. I forgot his name. They have a good collection of outside corners or corners in general. They do, and they have actually a good defense. They have a good defense.
I mean, I can't sit here and tell you that Rocky Sin's going to be phenomenal. I really can't tell you that. I mean, I'm higher on them most for sure, but I just don't think you need, like, studs at every single position. I mean, we were a quarter away from going to the Super Bowl with a shittier defense, in my opinion. I think the main thing with this defense hasn't been, like, are they good enough? It's, are they healthy enough? If you have Kirby Joseph and Lee McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, those guys available in 2024, you're probably going to this. I would love to say the Super Bowl. It's crazy to say with the Detroit Lions, but health has been the issue, not the defense in itself. And a lot of stuff, too, with the Seattle Seahawks, maybe outside of Leonard Williams. And I know they grabbed, I think, DeMarcus Lawrence. Leonard Williams via trade, DeMarcus Lawrence free agency. A lot of that defense was drafted, and Mike McDonald's a defensive mastermind. Like, it's just a lot of that's the Detroit Lions defense due to health, in my opinion. We could disagree on that, and that's fair, but, like, I feel you had to Lee McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson healthy for 2024. You're doing some things.
I'm just worried about the all 11. That's it, because they do have the defensive line. I can agree with you. I like the D line. I'm actually not. We talked about it yesterday. I like what they got on the D line, but, like, linebackers, I love Jack Campbell. I think Derek Barnes are still question marks. Like, DJ Reed. Like, there's stuff that DJ play like he did before he got hurt, and obviously safeties are a disaster right now because of injury. But, like, Brian Branch, is Brian a player you'd like to extend? I know you have to see him, but if he looks like any close to Brian, you got to pay him.
Branch stand.
I'm paying Brian a bag, bro. I want Brian a part of this defense for the future. So, like, I'm looking at it in a multitude of different ways. I don't know. And when you look at running backs through the last 10 years, I know people hate this argument, but it's so true. I'm sorry. Like, you go and look at starting running backs over the last 10 years, bro. It's actually upsetting for Lions fans to see who's running the ball, because people know it's about quarterback, defense, and who's your coach. Those are the 3 things you need to win a Super Bowl, bro. Obviously, some weapons help, but quarterback, who's your quarterback? Who's coaching? You mentioned McDonald, but we go to coaches, coordinators, and then your defense. It's like no one's been like, man, that running back really put the team on their back and they won a Super Bowl. Who's saying that?
I mean, Kenneth Walker kind of did do that, but you're right.
And they let him walk.
He's definitely a good quarterback. Let him walk, and that's post Super Bowl. Are they going to get it again without him? Probably not, right? But the thing I talk about when you're talking about paying a running back is let's not discount the fact that Christian McCaffrey's been there damn near every other year. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the highest paid running backs in the league. Saquon Barkley did it with the Philadelphia Eagles and then got rewarded with even a heftier contract. Like, it's I'm not going to discount running backs like helping the teams get there. Do they complete the mission? No, it comes down to that final game. And don't get me wrong, defense matters, but a running back contract isn't crippling a team the same way a quarterback contract is or an edge rusher contract is. It's just so much more minimal than any other contract when it comes like those big three: tackle, edge, quarterback. It's just not enough money to like say this is hampering you. $26 million, and I get to throw void years on top of that, and it doesn't hit till 3 years from now. It's just not crippling you like that.
I love Easy. I would rather. I'm telling you, positions I would put above running back that I would pay max money to. Quarterback, even though you might disagree with that, but you need a quarterback to win. Period. You do need a quarterback to win. Period.
I don't disagree with that at all.
And then obviously I would go offensive line. You got to protect your quarterback, and then defensive line. You got to get after quarterbacks, and then you got to help your quarterback when he's throwing. It's a passing league. Wide receivers. You need wide receivers, and then you need guys to cover those wide receivers and corners. So we're at like 6-7 positions right now before we even get into running back. And listen. Again, love Gibbs, respect him. It's not anything personal. It's just business. I just think it's irresponsible to pay $26 million to running back. It is. And if you disagree with it, you can cook on your show today. You can fry my ass, and you can go off on it and do your thing.
No, it's fine. It's not anything I care to like talk about. I just disagree. It's not like it's not anything that big. I just disagree. I just my frustration is where Booner or whoever's like he doesn't understand. I fully understand. I just disagree.
Well, I said that because the only reason I said
nothing
that.
to not understand.
The only reason I said that, and the only reason why I was saying you didn't understand is because whenever I've had, obviously, if you have a take like this, you get a lot of people that disagree with it. So I've had this conversation plenty of times.
I know.
You're the only person that has ever tried to get me to name a person in August. I've never had anybody be like,
that's the only part
name
that
somebody in August that you should get.
That's the only thing that I push back
let's be realistic, though. Real quick, Boone, if you were to step in that office with Sheila Forthamp, the owner of the team, and you're going to tell her, hey, the guy who's selling some of the most jerseys for you, a guy who was one of the best players in the NFL, we're going to let him walk. If she would say, all right, or she say, okay, what's the plan?
I wouldn't go into the meeting with, hey, we're just letting him walk. I would have a plan laid out of, hey, he's under contract for the next 2 years. We have a franchise tag for the third year. If we need to use it for the fourth, depending on how contracts go, we can do it for a fourth year. We could potentially have him for the next 4 years under contract. So that's the side of it. And then if she's like, well, what's the plan? Well, I'll say, hey, well, we have other players on this roster that might have to get paid as well. And then also I want to be able to have flexibility when it comes to the trade market, when it comes to the free agency, and not just the $26 million for one player that's going to change your team, for maybe multiple different position groups. Like, hey, if I want a $10 million edge, if Derek Moore doesn't work out, knock on wood, which I think he's going to, I've said. Mm-hmm. But if that situation, like last year, how we wanted one of those edge rushers like a Joey Bosa for $10 million, we have the flexibility to take 10 of that 26, and we could put it towards a Joey Bosa. And then we still have 16 or whatever. We have X amount of money remaining, and we can go out and get a corner because the Terrion thing happened. We can spend $15 million on a corner. We can go.
I can extend Tate Ratledge, and if he's really good in all pro, I can make him
it's not that. It's not of like, hey, who's
there's no names. There's no names involved in that conversation.
But I just named you the plan. I just named you the plan because I don't know. I mean, we could be like, hey, the corner market in 3 years is going to be X, X, and X. Those guys might sign contracts.
It's so hypothetical that like that would not work. When you're sitting down with your owner,
never go down the line.
Yeah, you know what? Like at some point, like this guy's.
This is where we turn different. Brad is never going to say, hey, in 4 years I want to sign Dak Prescott. Like that's not how this.
Yeah, he
works.
would. Yes, you would.
You're going to say, hey, we want to have flexibility at this position and be able to look at
we're targeting X, X, and X.
Not in 4 years down the line.
Yeah, we're planning on some random quarter becoming available. Like,
see, that's where we kind of divide a little bit. Is where it's like,
for sure,
I get what you're saying,
but
you're
we
not
divide real quick too, Boone. The trade
so anytime you ever talk,
throw that the fuck out.
So like, why when you go at Jared Goff?
Why
when you go at Jared Goff in his contract? Why don't you show up with another quarterback and a plan in place? Why don't you?
I never asked to replace.
But you talk about his contract.
I said, damn, I don't want to pay him that much money.
But exactly, that's what Jeff
You're
saying.
talking about replacing Jahmyr Gibbs.
Is that not the same thing? You don't want to pay Jared Goff. He doesn't want to pay Gibbs. It's the same thing. He's not saying get rid of Gibbs right now. He is saying he just doesn't want to pay him right now. He's still under contract. You say the same thing about Goff. You don't want to pay him. So
you're saying that running backs don't matter.
Who replaces Jared Goff? If you don't want to pay Jared Goff, who replaces him at a cheaper contract?
It's not a Jared Goff conversation. I never asked to replace Jared Goff. That's why I get pissed off you too. Why is that being brought up? It's not the same concept.
Yes,
because
it is.
your concept is we can take any running back. Booner, can you guys talk, please?
What?
You said that running. Can I talk, please? I'm asking if I can talk. Was it my turn? Okay. Running back. You're saying you replace Jahmyr Gibbs damn near any running back. Right? I'm not saying that about Jared Goff. Nor have I ever said that about Jared Goff. So when you bring up that in relation to it, that's when I get pissed off.
He's still in a contract. Potentially, you could have him for the next 4 years. It's the same conversation with Jared Goff about the money. That's my point.
It's not the same conversation because
you
I'm talking about I can replace Jared Goff with any given quarterback the same way you were talking about replacing Jahmyr Gibbs.
Hey, can we end it with this though? Easy, like, is it fair to say your biggest thing? And this is what I've always loved when you said this: the 12% rule with quarterbacks is 13 or 12, whatever it is.
Yeah.
What about having the highest paid running back on your roster? What's the Super Bowl chances of that? Typically, how many winners do we have of that? That's something I would be curious to see.
So that's what I'm telling you. I would point to Saquon Barkley being one of the highest paid running backs.
He was making 14 that year. He was making 14 that year.
McCaffrey being one of the highest paid running backs and being in the Super Bowl. Like it'd be different if a team with the highest paid running back isn't sniffing the Super Bowl. I'm with you. But that's not the scenario. We're seeing these high paid running backs routinely visiting the Super Bowl.
Dude, I will say this easy. Like, Saquon was making, I think, $14 million when he went to the Super Bowl, and then he got paid after that. So he wasn't the highest paid running back when they won. He was $14 million, and they had a stacked roster. And what happened? They paid him, and now
he was in the top 5, right? He was in the top 3 of the position, correct?
He was making 14. Gibbs is going to make 10, 12 million more than that right now.
Okay, but we're talking about Saquon though, right? Like when Saquon won the Super Bowl.
And by the way, it was
one of the highest paid running backs in the National Football League.
Well, let's talk about something else too. They're also paying a lot of guys. The offensive, they had a lot of guys, studs on their team that were paid, like defensively, offensively. They obviously drafted well, which I'll give you. Brad's got to hit on some defensive draft picks. I will give you that. But the problem is when you have so much money tied in your offense, you're forced to nail every single defensive draft pick because you can't afford not to. That's unrealistic to expect any GM to just hit on every single defensive draft pick. Like, eventually you're going to have to make acquisitions, right? At some point, you can't just nail every single defensive draft pick because you have to. Like, you're going to have to go get defensive players elsewhere. Is that fair?
Or you just need your defense to stay healthy.
Sorry, my mic cut out. What'd you say?
I said, or you just need your defense to stay healthy.
You think this defense healthy? What do you think they go, ceiling-wise? Healthy defense.
Healthy defense, if they could go back to stopping the run, I think they're when it comes to like equations to winning a Super Bowl, I think that's it. I mean, if you stop the run, obviously Kirby Joseph, I'm a subtract from like the healthy defense conversation. Brian Branch,
obviously, I get that.
But yeah, if you make teams one-dimensional, there's only 3 things that happen when you throw a football, and 2 of them are bad. It's an incompletion and interception. And that's how the Detroit Lions defense thrived in 2023. That's what they did against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's what they did against actually, Matthew Stafford had a tremendous game. We honestly beat the shit out of him with Lee McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson. But yeah, this defense is capable if it can stay healthy. Minus Kirby Joseph.
So you believe this defense is capable of winning a Super Bowl if they're healthy? Just making sure we get that clear, because that's where we disagree fundamentally, and that's fine. That's where we'll end. Okay, all right, that's fair. We'll let you go. You save your thoughts 5 to 7. People can tune in. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. You can address it. Give your thoughts. Easy. We appreciate you.
I don't address it now. It's fine. I just don't want the Boone going with the golf stuff. That's just not the conversation.
It's the same thing. Who are you replacing him with?
It's not, brother.
Like now.
You're talking about replacing any running back because the position doesn't matter, right?
Is the Duran thing hey, easy? Like not that.
Am I allowed to talk? Do I have permission to talk? Do I
have
permission?
Boone.
Is
okay,
it?
Actually, I'll ask you a question. Okay, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because not that Duran and Gibbs are they're not the same player at all. They're not. I'm not comparing players.
Okay,
but it's the same thing Neil says to you when he's like, find me a center. Find me a center. Isn't that frustrating when you're like, what do you mean find you a center right now? I don't want to pay Duran the money.
No, what frustrated me was when you gave Neil answers to pretend you didn't hear him. That's what frustrated me.
Dude,
I told Neil,
no one could give Neil an answer to that.
We're running athletic bigs.
And I disagree.
Neil answer that?
Because I disagree with that. If you don't want to pay Duran,
I gave Neil multiple answers.
Like what?
DeAndre Ayton, Andre Drummond, the combination of them, you fit both of them with the same salary cap.
With the same money you're paying Duran. Or at least money you're paying Duran. Okay, whatever. We're getting off track now. It's not a big deal. It's fine.
No, I answered your question. That was the answer, but Neil never wanted to hear it.
It's not fair. I don't. That's ridiculous for you to be like, if you don't think Duran's worth the money, then that's fine.
Should I give you names?
Well, on defense, we're in August. That was, I don't know who's available right now in free agency. I don't know. Who's available at corner? Nobody. Nobody's available in August.
You're crying about what you're going to do with the money, but you don't have a plan for the money.
In the future, my plan is pump more money into the defense. That's my plan.
But when you sit down with an NFL owner, it's not going to work. Hey, I'm going to let one of the best players walk. What's the game plan? I don't know. It's something in the future.
I would say, well, Sheila, to win a Super Bowl, we need a really good defense. And you see, we've been ass every year. So my plan to get there is we're going to stop spending on the offense, and we're going to spend more on the defense. And I think Sheila would go, nice.
Yes.
Because that's what she should do. That's what she should do.
On
Because Brad's the
who
GM.
spend
She's
the money?
the owner.
That would be the conversation. You couldn't just say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to hypothetically spend it on guys that are better and more impactful than Jahmyr Gibbs." You'd have to give her names,
dude. We can't give you names in
That's right. We disagree. But I'm just telling you how that conversation would go when you're talking to the owner of the NFL organization. It's not just, I'm going to spend it here. You got to have like some context and like details there. It's got to be detailed plan of action, not just, hey, I'm going to spend it on defense.
My
It's all
detailed
going to
plan
work
of
out.
action is Sheila. So you're Sheila. I'm Brad. How you doing, Sheila? Nice to meet you. Or nice to see you again, actually. Not meet you. Nice to see you again. Our team, you see our defense.
Hey, Brad.
Our defense. Hey, what's going on? Our defense is ass. Over the next 2 years, Gibbs is under contract. We're going to let that thing ride out. I'm telling you right now, Sheila, I'm going to be more active, more engaged in 2028 free agency, maybe even before then, kind of planning ahead. Yeah. If a player's available, I can at least size up the contracts for the future because we have more money available. Oh, if Tate Ratledge needs a deal, I want to prioritize that. Brian Branch, I want to prioritize that. We're going to make sure we add here. Like, he can lay out the whole fucking scenario.
Give me a free agent, though, right now.
Brad, this is my team. I don't understand. We've been tremendously successful with Jahmyr Gibbs. Why would we go away from him?
Tremendously successful with Jahmyr Gibbs.
What are we going to spend this money on?
Sheila. Right now, it's Super Bowl or bust, and we've busted every year. We bust. Pause. We've busted every single year. So we're going to try and do something different to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Ada Hudson got hurt, and Lee McNeil got hurt, and we lost Carlton Davis.
Oh, why did we lose Carlton Davis?
He got hurt.
No, because we didn't want to pay extra money for him. But this is why we didn't want to pay them money.
He was there in 2024. He got hurt. All right. So my one last thing before we go. Just to be clarified. I need this from Booner because I'm trying to understand how this correlates at all. Jeff, so what's the plan of action without Jahmyr Gibbs at the running back position? You're talking about replacing him, right?
Well, you have 2 years to figure it out. This is where I've always said, too. I've said this, too. I haven't said this to you because we've been arguing differently. But the thing I always liked about what Brad's done with some things is like he's always had another position of it, like ready, another guy ready to go. Anzo, he's had Jack Campbell waiting in the wings. He's had different guys kind of waiting. He should have drafted a running back at this point already. We should have already taken running backs. That's where I disagree. We don't have any other running backs. I mean, we don't. Pacheco was $1 million signing.
Sean Bach, he's been taking first team snaps, baby.
No.
But here's the
thing, though. Here's the thing, though. Looking forward, you have 2 drafts to scout running backs. You have 2 free agencies, whatever, to look at some running backs. I still think you should take a running back. I think running back is kind of like quarterback. People say you should take one every year. I would take a running back every damn year. Honestly, like in the mid to late rounds, just take a back, and you never know. Look at what the Bears got in Kyle Monunga. He's a 7th-round pick. That dude's good. He's not Jahmyr, but they don't need Jahmyr to win. They just need a good run game, and they're doing it with DeAndre and Kyle Monunga. Like, and the Rams got Kyron Williams, a 4th-round pick, and then you have Blake Corum, who's a 3rd-round pick, and they look great on. They're going to be another good rushing attack this year. So it's like you don't need. My point is like you don't need the best running back in the game to ultimately have a good run game and win a Super Bowl. It's like you can get by with other backs. That's all I'm saying. And, and it's not a popular take. I understand that, but I would take swings at running back every year. And if you have a guy, I'm
just not mad or looking at it as like debilitating the team at all. And if I'm Brad, I truly am probably going to play the hardball game because you can sit out all training camp. That's fine. Come regular season, you're getting docs like $56,000. Plus your bonuses and all that stuff too. So it's like he's gonna. If Brad really wants to, I could hold out on your contract, brother. And you're gonna be the one hurting, not me. It's gonna hurt your pockets because you're not hitting free agency after this year. We got the 5th year. You got the 5th year too, brother.
Yeah.
So Brad for sure can play and should play hardball, but I mean it's like also might as well. They're not gonna get hit for like 2 more years.
I do think they pay him. Okay, I do think they do. They're going to clearly, like the way Dan talked about it today. So we appreciate you, Easy, coming on.
Easy,
and
love
no
problem.
Shout out,
Yeah, not talking about replacing Jared Goff. That's just I want to establish that one more time. Don't let Booner say that anymore.
So you want Dak Prescott?
Do you want Dak Prescott's crazy?
Love you guys.
5 to 7.
Right.
See you, Easy. Hey, let's take a break. What do we got?
I meant to tell him stop with the Jordan Love stuff too, but
the Jordan Love. He's gonna hop right back on. He's gonna click the link again.
Damn it, man.
Yeah, we're gonna double up here. First, let me tell you about Buddy's Pizza. It doesn't get much better in Detroit than Buddy's Pizza. Right now, you can get 10% or $10 off your order of $50 or more for dine-in or carry-out by using new promo code WWS26. Buddy's is the original Detroit-style pizza, and they have been serving it up since 1946. With 20 locations across Michigan, there is a Buddy's Pizza near you. To cash in on this offer, find a location near you or order at buddyspizza.com. massagechairshouse.com. And then let me tell you about Massage Chair House. If you're looking to take your relaxation to the next level, visit Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, the largest massage chair room in the Midwest. Experience the difference with Dr. Eric Duncan, the Wellness Doc and creator of the #1 YouTube channel for massage chair reviews at the Wellness Doc. Book your visit today at massagechairhouse.com or simply scan the QR code on your screen. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Put in off the volley. Maxi Rodriguez. Towards the
Some days call for light, others lean bold. What about everything in between? All Day IPA, the easy choice for every day. Citrusy, crisp, refreshing. Flavor you can float with. Light on the hops, big on refreshment. One's great. Two, even better. Brewed with you in mind. No shortcuts, no fuss. Big on flavor, never too much. All Day IPA. Hop into easy.
And Sean Belizian wake you up every Monday through Friday on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. That's right, Big D Energy has moved to mornings. Get your morning dose of Neil's tone and Sean's insanity. Weekdays 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Two Detroit sports legends coming together for the best Detroit sports morning show there is. Big D Energy, waking you up weekdays on Detroit's #1 sports network.
All right, football is back, and there's no better place to get ready for the gridiron than Art and Jake's Sports Bar and Grill. Join us live at Art and Jake's in Washington Township this Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. for our Lions training camp special. We'll be breaking down everything when it comes to the camp, roster battles, predictions, all of that. And plus, we'll be giving away 2 pairs of Detroit Tigers tickets. So stop in person for your chance to win. You have to be there to be able to win and enter. So make sure you guys come stop in. Whether you're getting ready for football season or just looking for a great place to spend your Thursday afternoon, Art and Jake's Sports Bar and Grill in Washington Township. It's a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
And listen, after you hit Art and Jake's, you're going to want a little something to smoke on and feel good. So Gold Crown has got you covered with the new Royal Jesters. Not so new. They've been around for a little minute, but they are 1.5 grams each, and they are quad infused, which means keef coated, live resin infused, THCA diamonds, and terpenes packed into 4 layers of, oh yeah, after that Art and Jake's, I'm going to be feeling good after this. Michigan made, top tier, no shortcuts. Next time you're at the Dispo, don't think, just ask for the Royal Jesters, because if you're going to smoke, come on, y'all. Smoke like royalty.
We're back. It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports, and we're joined by our good friend, Rogelio Castillo. You can check him out, Tigers ML Reports, MCM Baseball Pod. He does a great job, and he works alongside our guy here at Woodward Sports, Nick Koloff. These guys are crushing it, by the way, so check out Nick's stuff. Let's bring in Raj. Raj, we got to get your thoughts, man. Tigers trade deadline, everything that kind of has occurred. You looking good, too,
you
Raj.
Look great, Raj.
You look fresh,
incredible,
man. Look at that. How are you doing, Raj?
Thank you. I'm doing all right. I'm glad the whole thing's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are with you. I mean, we've had the talk on our show for weeks on weeks on weeks, and I know we talk about it, but you cover it. So you've been pumping out stuff, and you obviously have your own podcast as well. So I know it's been a pain in the ass, but I do want to ask you just overall kind of summary. How are you feeling, Raj? Trade deadline kind of wrapped up. You heard Scott Harris talk the other day, kind of give his thoughts. Me and Booner watched it. We all kind of checked it out. What is kind of your thoughts on the overall trade deadline and where the Tigers are post-trade deadline? And then we'll get into like the specific trades. But how are you feeling today?
I'm actually feeling pretty good. I mean, I know a lot of Tiger fans are feeling disappointed because they felt like they were punting for the future. The only thing that I really have a problem with is not addressing the bullpen. But in a way, I kind of figured they were going to address that internally based off some of the injuries. But overall, considering what they drafted and they were able to do with this trade deadline, I really felt that they were able to replenish a farm system that's been really ravaged by injuries and gives them some really much needed depth.
What do you think, Raj, when you talk about the grade for some of these trades? Can we just start with the Tarek Skubal trade, the kind of the pieces that they got back? What's the grade that you give Scott Harris for that Tarek Skubal trade? Do you think he could have waited? I saw Ben Verlander tweet out, and I always thought this was interesting, that he felt like he should have waited until yesterday around 5 to be able to push it to maybe get the market up a little bit. Do you think that was the best deal that they were going to get no matter what, or do you think that they could have kind of pushed that market a little more?
Whether Scott Harris is telling the truth or not, when we talked to him yesterday in the press conference, I think they got what they wanted because they were targeting a certain kind of type of player that they wanted. I know that the Blue Jays were really active yesterday with the Kevin Gausman, but the Kevin Gausman package was very similar. I give the trade a B. Because Zaire Hope is really, to me, the centerpiece of this all. I mean, River Ryan is a guy who, when he's healthy, key thing in there, when he's healthy, it's very good. But that's just like you have to really make sure he's healthy. And then Brady Smith, the guy that got the kind of wild card in the deal, has some bullpen risk, but I think he's a pretty good pitcher too, based off how the Tigers develop him. But as far as waiting until the last minute, I mean, we saw that happen with the Dodgers trade before. I don't think the Tigers were really kind of unclear about what they wanted there, but I think they had a specific goal in mind and they went out and got it. And looking at what Baltimore did and Boston did and all that, I think, I don't know. I think there's some agents, Scott Boras, some stuff out there with that. And so, I don't know. I think they got the best deal that they possibly could.
I just want to ask you the Scott Boras thing. He did comment about Scott Boras, and he actually did mention, I was so interested in the comment that he made where he mentioned that Scott Boras made it very, very clear that they did not want to sign an extension until he entered free agency. That was an interesting point because a lot of the conversation with Skubal was like, do they have a contract out there? Is he not signing it? Is Skubal the one that's not doing it? Like, it was like, what side is the one holding this thing up? I think yesterday, at least in my mind, it confirmed a little bit that it was Scott Boras and Skubal that were like, hey, we don't care about extensions until free agency. Did you have a kind of an issue with that? And then the next part of that too, Scott Harris did mention, he was like, hey, we'll see what happens in free agency. Do you think that kind of still leaves the door open for Skubal and Scott Harris and them to speak, this offseason to try and still get a deal done?
I think so. I mean, the thing is that Scott Boras is going to get his guy to free agency, and that's the way he's always operated. And Skubal's a union guy, and this goes back. As long as I've watched baseball, Scott Boras has always been that kind of guy. And if he really, again, I'll say it once, I'll say it again, if Skubal really wanted to resign, he wouldn't care what Scott Boras thought and just done it. But since Scott Boras found him when he was injured in Seattle University, when no team but the Tigers gave him an opportunity, I think his loyalty relies to Scott Boras. And so, I did hear that Scott Boras wanted them to sign a 9-year, 10-year deal, and the Tigers were like, politely, no thanks. So, but I also think, people also are going there saying, well, the Tigers never really offered any money. That's not, I know that Evan Petzel folded that out there, but it's never been confirmed either. So I think there's a lot of gray area, but I will say that no matter what was going to happen, Tarek Skubal was going to go to free agency, no matter what the Tigers offered him, and that's just the way it operates. And that's why you're going to see this lockout coming up, because I think these owners are sick and tired of being kind of really held up like this, but it's not the first time nor the last time that these two sides have clashed like this.
And Roger, I do want to ask just more specifically into the trade package itself. Zaire Hope, River Ryan, Brady Smith. Can you kind of just give your thoughts on what the Tigers got, but more specifically each kind of prospect and how you evaluate each of the guys in that return? I know people are excited about Zaire Hope. River Ryan's kind of suffered some injuries. I know he had Tommy John, but just your thoughts on the return and what they could do for the Tigers for the future, kind of your vision for them.
I think Zaire Hope fulfills a really much-needed gap in the Tiger system right now, which is a power-hitting outfielder. They don't have that right now currently at any level. And so I think he comes in. I know people are worried about his strikeouts, but he's striking out under 30%. He's like a 24% clip in Double-A, which is fine. That's what that's because he has the power. He can hit. He's a good hit tool. He's drawing walks at a 10% double-digit clip right now. He's got a good arm. Some people are trying to compare him to Akil Baddoo and Christian Stewart for reasons that are pretty obvious, which is stupid, but all three of them are very different players. And what Hope does is also has a little bit of speed too, but a good plus defender. River Ryan has a former converted infielder to a pitcher just a few years ago. People were worried about his age. doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on the arm. The injuries he has are weird. I mean, he has a orbital bone injury and then the hamstring and what have you, but his stuff, when he is healthy, is really good. He's got a really good split finger fastball, 98, 99. And Brady Smith, the wild card I mentioned earlier, gives the Tigers much needed velocity. They don't really have a lot of guys that are pumping 96, 97 in the lower levels right now consistently. And so I think with him, they inherit a guy that will help them in that level. But overall, Hope, to me, the more I see him, the more it's like, okay, I see what they were trying to do here. I know people wanted Mike Sirota, the right-handed hitter, because the Tigers, everybody wants, well, how come they're not righties? Well, majority of the pitchers in the American League are right-handed. So why not go to your strength with that?
What's going on, Rod? It's good to talk to you again. Let's talk about the Casey Mize deal for a second. I think when we all saw him, go to the Padres, we were all thinking, Padres, terrible farm system. But I'm pretty intrigued by Cash Mayfield. Do you think Cash Mayfield's a guy that can creep into the top 100 going into next year and contribute for the Tigers in upcoming years?
It's good to see you again, Caleb. No, I think the one thing about him is if he can get that, I know his velocity was not what it was when they first drafted him. And, yeah, the Padres system, as much as it is a bad system, they do have – I mean, this is the same system that gave everybody – one of the biggest National League stories in I'm not drawing a blank all of a sudden, the outfielder with the Nationals. Wood?
Yeah, James Wood. Yeah,
James Wood, yeah. So San Diego can evaluate talent really well. And as soon as Scott Harris said we liked him in the draft, it's the same thing when they picked up another guy who's currently down with injuries right now. I like this guy's extension. I think Cash has the ability to, if the Tigers can optimize his ability, he's already got a plus changeup. And with that plus changeup, you put that with a fastball, the ability to change eye levels. I think he can sneak into the top 100. Really depends what he does here in the last month of the season at West Michigan. I know people talk about how come he's not being promoted yet, but I don't see the rush. Right now, I just want to see him pitch in West Michigan, see what he can do. He's already been – it's really weird. He was supposed to pitch for Fort Wayne, and Fort Wayne plays West Michigan this week, so he's literally switching benches. So I think the Tigers are going to be able to – optimize him and hopefully make him a starter right now because he's been pitching 4 or 5 innings, but that's been a motif across the system.
What's going on, Raj? Keep crushing out there, well, of course, with Tigers minor league report and everything. And just wanted to ask you a 2-part question, really, because, you look at the Tarek Skubal trade, and I thought that Scott Harris did a pretty good job considering the circumstances and compared to his last trade deadlines. But when you look at the return for Skubal, do you think that they made a mistake by not trading him sooner? And then also, you got the kids coming up. They just sent up Max Clark a little sooner than I thought they would. And just this roster is about to flip in a way that we haven't seen in quite a while. What do you think about the prospects of the Tigers competing after this season?
Question. I think that Scott Harris wanted to keep Skubal because they had a better chance of winning with him. I really sincerely think he meant that when we talked to him yesterday. And whatever offers they had probably weren't par for what – well, maybe they were. I don't know. We will never know that part. But they thought with Skubal – and this was the one thing about Scott Harris yesterday that I thought was different and came across. He admitted that he was like, you know what, I didn't do enough. He has said things that I've been screaming about for a while now, which is like they need more depth. They need another right-handed bat. And he basically said, look, that's my bad. I didn't do enough. And, he was he almost used the injuries as an excuse. There was 35 players on the IL, but he was like, you know what? I didn't do enough. And to me, that was very different from what he normally does because usually he always tries to act like the smartest guy in the room. But yesterday, he's like, no, you know what? That's on me. And the return he got yesterday was to address the depth. If you look at the draft, the same thing. The depth, the pitching, what have you. The glaring hole, obviously, still they need another right-handed bat. As far as the prospects go that are up here right now, Max Clark, I'm with you. I thought Clark was when he called up on the 15th, but he had a really good month of July. He started hitting pull side, so he started hitting with power and pull side, which was the one sign that goes, okay, he's good to go. And he's been playing the field a lot better. Valencia, I've been saying this since last year. He's been crushing the ball. A lot of the fans, or excuse me, a lot of the players with the Tigers really like him because of his approach to the plate. Yeah. Hopefully he can get better defensively at first base and catching, and he's a work in progress. But him and Hyuli, I always say this, just wait 150 to 200 at-bats before you makes somebody like a stud, because leagues adjust. They always find ways to flaws. Like, league still overswings a lot, which is why Gleyber Torres wasn't traded yesterday. People were mad about that. I don't think Lee's ready to take over second base right now. And so keeping Gleyber Torres allows you to be competitive and continue to go with the wild card with the young core they have.
It's great stuff, Raj. We appreciate you so much. You guys can check out Raj. You got your new Twitter? By the way, I know the other one.
Yes.
The other one got hacked. The Rajcast.
I'm not a crypto bro.
Okay. I got a DM. I was like, oh, yeah, Raj DM me. I was like, oh,
Yeah, me
shit.
too.
Okay, this is not Raj.
That ain't me, gentlemen.
The new Twitter, the Rajcast, is the new Twitter for Raj. You can check out @Tygo's ML Report as well. Raj, we appreciate you. Thanks for joining, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you guys again.
There you go.
Hey, good to see you, Raj.
Caleb Castillo joining the show. Let's go to break. Caleb, what do we got?
Let's do Mortgage Pros.
Mortgage Pros. Let me
He's
tell you
back.
guys, we're working on it. Looking for a career upgrade. Caleb, check out Mortgage Pros, the #1 mortgage broker to work for in the state of Michigan. We got to see their incredible company culture, guys. Like about a month ago, we went to the annual block party. It was incredible. They have 4.9 stars and over 4,000 reviews, and their reputation, it speaks for itself. So if you are looking for a new job, you see the number on the screen. Give Mortgage Pros in Troy a call at 248-416-1361. Mortgage Pros, let the pros handle it.
You're building a whole combat sports enterprise in the heart of it in Detroit, and that's what I think is the coolest.
I think with opportunity, right? Like you said, maybe you like to punch people in the face for real, and you know, you want to be a boxer, and you have an option there. Maybe you don't like getting punched in the face, and you want to make, you know, you like the theatricals and the storylines, and so you have an avenue here. Maybe you start at one and then want to change to the other. I don't care. I just want you in the building and know that you have some place to go to explore that. Just having the ability to, what do you want to do and how do you want to do it to the best of your ability? And, you know, it all starts with the kids.
Dan Campbell is in redemption mode.
No, make no mistake. It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
And Woodward Sports is here to cheer on the Detroit Lions every snap. Don't miss a moment of Detroit Lions coverage. Follow Woodward Sports on all social media platforms now.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Y'all know what time it is. Time to tell you about Mad Packs, the maddest of packs. And if you're a fan of Mad Packs, then you probably already know about these great drops that they got right now. But for everybody else, you need to get with it because they got the Boom Shakalaka 200 milligram hash rising gummies and the High-Low 200 milligram live resin gummies alongside, of course, the Mad Packs extracts, blizzard packs, pre-rolls, and flour. Whatever you need, they got you covered. So you want to go to getmadpacks.com today. Mad flavor, mad high, mad packs.
It's crunch time here on Woodward Sports. We're going to talk some Detroit Tigers because we haven't really given our thoughts now that the trade deadline is over with. And we have all the deals. We talked about a lot of stuff yesterday on our show, and today we're going to address now Casey Mize is gone. We know what the Tigers got in return. Gleyber Torres was not traded. And I know Raj kind of shared his thoughts as to why they decided to maybe keep Gleyber, which I thought was very, very interesting. But yesterday, Casey Mize was traded. And in return, the Tigers got two prospects, Cash Mayfield, Jackson Wolf. And we talked about it before the show. Cash Mayfield was the number 2 ranked prospect in their respective organization, which Was he top 100 on the MLB?
No.
Okay, well that's
they have a tough farm system.
Tough farm
to say
system.
The least.
We talked about that before the show.
Soto.
So that's how that goes. But how the conversation is, how are we feeling now, kind of post trade deadline? I know I listened to Scott Harris speak, and I will say this: like, as much shit as we do give Scott Harris, and rightfully so, I thought the press conference was very interesting, and it did give me kind of a different perspective. He talked about selling versus buying, and we have a lot of clips we'll play. But I will say this: like, I know a lot of fans are down about how the trade deadline maybe went for various reasons. I actually like what they got for some of the returns they got. Like, I'm happy with it. I'm not mad at it. I think the ESPN gave them like they put them as losers of the trade deadline, which I do disagree with. I think if I had to give a grade for the trade deadline overall, with all the factors we talked about, I'd probably give them like a B, to be honest with you, because there are some. Again, you took swings at prospects with high upsides, and I think that was always the route. I was never a fan of letting Skubal walk for a comp pick. I like that they have more swings at it with the prospects they acquired. And Casey Mize, as much as we talked about that, maybe keeping him and trying to extend him, he is someone that has dealt with a ton of injuries, and they got two guys that they're going to take a swing on. So I'm happy with the trade deadline. Again, you are where you are as an organization. Clearly, Scott Harris admitted that as well. Like, they didn't feel like they were in a position to compete this year as much as they were. Maybe they're kind of trying to claw their way into a playoff spot, but I'm not mad at it. I'll say that.
I'm just interested. Like, the thing with the trade deadline, I'm with you. I think, like, for the return and everything they got, I think a B is a good grade. I don't think they got, you could be like, an A+. Like, I think they got what they could get for those two guys. So just average, a B. The only thing that I really was thinking about last night when this happened, because we've had this conversation before about, like, hey, if you're going to sell. If you're going to buy.
Right.
And I have always said, like, hey, no matter what, it's Skubal. Even if you're buying, like, get what you can for Skubal, because you're probably not going to have him potentially for the future. So get what you can. And then the Mize thing kind of came up. I thought when I saw the Mize news, that came out at like 5 or 6 p.m., like right at 6. So I was sitting there and I was watching MLB Network, and they were like, well, you have to wait a couple minutes, obviously, so the league can kind of process all of these, and then they get put out there. I was like, okay, once I saw Mize, I went, okay, we're about to get an alert about Gleyber Torres. Nothing. Nope. And that was where I was just a little bit in it's like this middle ground, in my opinion, to where, hey, if you were going to go on from Tarek Skubal and Casey Mize, fine. But if you're keeping the other guys, in my mind, Scott Harris does think that they can still come back and maybe make a playoff run and get into the playoffs. That's okay with me as well. I've said that. I said they could be sellers and buyers at the same time. I don't know about not even bringing in, I think Raj brought it up, anyone in your bullpen. So if you are going to sell Mize and Skubal and you're not going to sell the other guys, and you're going to sit there and say, hey, we're going to run with them. We're 2.5 out of the wild card. We had to get what we could from Skubal. Mize is injured here and there, so he's not, more trustworthy. He's going to leave anyways. So let's move on from that. But we're going to kind of push with the guys that you have in the starting pitching rotation right now.
Yeah.
And we're going to try and make up those 2.5 games through August and September. We're going to do our best. I get that. But if you're going to do that, I just thought, hey, maybe add someone in the bullpen.
No, I get that.
So that was where I just got pushed into a spot of, you're in a middle ground.
Yes,
you're in this middle of, like, where are we really at? He did one thing, sat in the middle, didn't do another, didn't fully go into that one side. That was the only question that I had with Scott Harris, where if I would have asked him last night, I said, what was your full mindset on that? Why didn't you just go all in on selling? Why didn't you at least try and buy if you felt like you have? It's like he has 1 foot out the door and 1 foot in, and he's sitting there on both sides like, like, no, dude, just pick a side, or don't pick a side, or just keep it and run with it and go for a postseason run. That's where my mind went yesterday with
But this is what we was talking about, Booner, where, you had brought up that you can sell and buy at the same time, and I just did not see it. And I'm like, I don't think it's smart to sell off future assets in order to try to go after a season that, to me, just me, if y'all still in, that's cool. To me, it's a season that's already lost. And Scott Harris did speak to this in that press conference. He said just about as much. He said, hey, I just didn't feel like, we should be buying, just considering the circumstances, and that's why he didn't. But overall, I mean, considering like I told Rogelio, considering the circumstances, I think this is Scott Harris's best trade deadline. You were able to go out there, and this was always going to be the return for Skubal. For anybody that was mad at the return, you should have been more mad in the winter when they didn't trade Skubal. You should have been more mad 2 years ago when they had the chance to trade Skubal for a king's ransom from the Orioles, and you didn't do it. It was always going to be the return, and I'm just glad they made the adult decision. I'm glad they made the big boy decision, because you do have to think about your future. But for people like Neil and Sean this morning who were still mad, and a good number of us that are still mad, it's understandable, because for the first time since 2014, this is the most competitive that the Detroit Tigers have ever been. And Tarik Skubal was a big part of that. And contract aside, I think it's more symbolic than anything. If you're not going to sign Tarik Skubal, who the hell will you sign? You know, it's just kind of that thing there, and it's unfortunate because we all thought, you know, over the last couple years that this Tiger team could actually do something if you put the proper resources behind what they already had. They failed to do that. You backed yourself into a really bad corner with this Tarik Skubal situation, and you were able to salvage it, but at the cost of this year probably being lost. And we don't know when the hell this team might compete again, although they do have some nice young pieces right now. So I'm just relieved as a fan that they got it done. But you just look at this thing and it's just like, damn, man, what could have been?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a B as well, just because I am happy, and he talked about it a lot in the press conference. So we're gonna play some clips. Jeff, I agree with you. I thought the press conference was really good.
Yeah.
He picked a side, and he put the blame on himself, basically saying, I didn't put this team in a position where we can afford to trade future assets and prospects for players that are going to help us now. So I am happy that he picked the side of selling. The Skubal trade was inevitable. It was always going to happen, and I really like the return. If Zaire Hope turns into an all-star, that's a win. That's a win in itself for a rental, a 2-month rental. And then you get another top 100 guy in River Ryan, who I know he's 27 years old, but this is a guy that's going to contribute. He's going to be a middle of the rotation guy, and you're going to have 6 years of team control of River Ryan. And then the Casey Mize trade, again, like kind of how, you know, Raj was talking about it. Yeah, the Padres farm system, it stinks. It's one of the worst in baseball, if not the worst in baseball. But Cash Mayfield is a guy that I'm pretty excited about. Left-handed pitcher, you know, put away changeup, a really, really good changeup. I think the velo is going to get up there, and if you're going to get a rotational piece for Casey Mize, I like that as well. So I'm going to give Scott Harris a B. It always sucks to sell, and again, in the press conference, he says in every bone in my body, I hate selling. He's only really done that here. That's all he's really done, with trading away Flaherty at the one deadline. Last year was a terrible trade deadline. Yeah. I don't even know what to call that. But, you know, in past years when he was in San Francisco, you know, they traded for Chris Bryant when he was in that organization. He bought there. And then you look in, you know, when he was in the Cubs organization, he brought it up there. You know, they traded for Aroldis Chapman to help them win a World Series. So I think
make the team better. Yeah, you can buy.
I think I've gained a lot of respect for Scott Harris, especially after this trade deadline, because he picked a direction and he made the tough moves that are going to help the Tigers for the future.
Let's play some of those clips. I don't know exactly what you have, but let them rip, and then we'll react to them.
Yeah, we'll do this one right here. He kind of just talks about how, you know, the direction the team picked and how he doesn't like selling, but that's
a great one
for the team.
Let's play it.
Yeah, I mean, to be totally honest, I started planning for both sides weeks ago, not because I didn't have faith in this group, and not because I, was hoping to sell. Again, I hate selling more than anything. It's just in this job, these decisions are too important. Like, you got to be prepared for them. So I started preparing for both outcomes, for adding to this team, and also preparing for taking players off of this team and making sure that we could secure our future weeks ago. Didn't formally make the decision until after the Baltimore series. I wanted to give this team every opportunity to make a really compelling case that we shouldn't do this. And again, we just didn't make that case. It's not on the players. It's not on the coaches. It's on me. Like, if there's anyone you should point to, it's me. We didn't collectively make this case compelling enough to add to this team, and we didn't make a case compelling enough to not subtract from this team, because again, it costs real parts of your future to decide to hold. It's not just this sort of costless decision. Like, the players that I'm really excited about, the players that we are all really excited about that our scouts are really excited about, we wouldn't have those players unless we made this hard decision to make the trades that we made this week.
I mean, say what you want. Like,
yeah,
I get. He said it himself. He was prepared for both scenarios, and it said after the Baltimore series, which they lost that series, he made the decision.
That was at 7-0, that Scuba loss. You're up 7-0. I told you the other day, or I told Caleb, or I was telling someone.
Was the nail in the
That was the one right there.
Yep.
To where if you win that game, Tarek Scoop probably is still a Detroit Tiger. Casey Mize is still on the Detroit Tigers, and they're pushing for the playoffs. Like, that's how close this thing was, and they were to that. And that's where I think, like, I'll backpedal and say what I said a couple months ago. Like, like the Glaber thing, right? I was the guy that said, hey, Glaber. Now, if they get rid of Glaber and he doesn't come back next year, like, you screwed up. Like, that's where I'm at with Scott Harris. Like, I think it's a respectable thing for him to say, hand up, all of this is on me. Yeah. Like, this team, the way it's structured, all of that. He did talk about at some point, like, the injuries, like, you could have never predicted. He was like, I've never seen a team have to put 30-plus guys on the IL throughout a first half of the season. He's like, I've never seen that. And that's another one of those things in Detroit that we're used to hearing because of the Lions, right? A record-breaking IR kind of stint for players. Like, we don't like to hear it, but it's the reality of the situation.
All right.
So I respect Scott Harris for saying it. We're a hand-up show, right, fellas? We're a hand-up show. I respect him for doing that. Again, I've switched the side of I'm switching a little bit of the Glaber stuff and the Kenley Jansen thing. If they end up walking at the end of the year and you just lose in the first round, you right now have a really good young core on this roster. Yeah. You can make the playoffs and make runs next year if these guys, Troy Melton, these guys all work out the way they're supposed to. And you can be right back to where you were to start this last year with the roster you have with Max Clark. You should have tried to just add more to your farm system if those guys are going to walk.
Right.
So that's my only thing. It's like, I think
and we don't know if he did or didn't. Possibly they took calls.
And maybe he didn't like the deals that Glaber was getting offered and Kenley Jansen. But that's just the only thing. I get it, Caleb. Like, he did the right thing. We say he chose a side.
The two most important
were
pieces
Casey and Scoobel.
Yes.
But if you were going to do it, you might as well get those four guys that are on 1 year deal or a year left on their deal, expiring deals. Get something, right? Even if it's a prospect that you're like, at least you're getting something. Right? Because then next year, is Glaber part of your future?
No.
Probably not. It's probably Hao Yu Lee, right? Like Raj said. Is Kenley Jansen a part of your future?
Hell no.
Probably not. So it's why not, if a team was willing to go in for a Glaber or Kenley, why didn't you just say, screw it, dude? Let's just go all in. There is a sense that it feels like, hey, if there was an offer, that Scott Harris a little bit was like, we are only 2.5 back. Maybe we could scrape something together.
Right.
You could do that without those two guys, too. Right? Like, Hao Yu Lee could put things together. Like, you could do it without those guys. That is my only pushback, because I do think Scott Harris did a good job for what he kind of those two moves he made. Yeah. And I'm glad that he actually didn't decide to keep him and keep Casey Mize. I'm glad it happened the way it did. That's my only critique for this whole thing. That's it. And I think that's a fair.
Yeah, that's more.
If you're going to sell, just sell, man. Like,
it's more than
screw
fair.
it.
But it also looks better on Scott Harris if they do find a way into the playoffs, because then he'd be like, hey, we still competed.
But that's the half in, half out thing, which I get as a GM if you're trying to keep your job or player of baseball operations, whatever. Like, I understand that. But I think he has done, is whether people want to agree or not, I think he's done a decent job of building some of these young pieces.
Yeah, the farm system. Yeah.
Like, people say he's a glorified scout. Well, guess what? Like, he just got more pieces. And if he is a scout, you're probably going to think that some of these guys he just got in the last 48 hours are going to be pretty damn good players over the next few years for you. So why not do that with Glaber as well and Kenley?
Yeah, the thing with that, though, like, and again, like, I like the trade deadline. I have gained respect for Scott Harris after this deadline because but I get it. The farm system, it's top 5 in baseball, especially after this trade deadline. You bring in a guy in Zaire Hope, who's probably better than the 24th ranked prospect. I think he's a little bit higher than that. I think at the end of the season, he'll be a little bit higher than that. But when these guys, and this is what Scott Harris struggled with this young core that came up, is that when these guys come up, you have to complement them with veteran pieces. So in future trade deadlines, let's say you're playing really good baseball and you're in a legit – you're a legit contender, and these young guys are kind of at the forefront of it. At these trade deadlines, at a certain point, you got to be aggressive. Like, it's farm systems are incredibly important, but at a certain point, you got to know when to be aggressive.
Hey, do you have the video talking about the Scott Boras and
yeah, I wanted to get to that.
Can we play that? Because I do have that obviously the thing is, but Booner, you told you're out on Skubal because of this and that. I think this actually, Scott Harris addressed it straight on.
Yes.
And Caleb, me and you said there's a 0.0% chance at Skubal, and they even have conversations this offseason. I actually think Scott Harris answered those questions last night in his press conference, and I think he did it in a massive way, to be honest. Do we have that?
Yeah.
Let's play that.
Play it.
Did you ever approach Tarek Skubal with a serious extension offer, or did you feel like that was an option at any point?
Yeah, we explored an extension once. The response that I got from Tarek's agent was pretty clear that he was intent on going to free agency and exploring the market, which is totally his right, and nobody should be upset about that. He has put himself in a position to be able to explore a market, and he decided that he wanted to do that, and should not be criticized for it. But it was very clear from the exchange about what the intentions were, and he deserved it, and so I expect him to be a free agent this winter, and we'll see what happens from there.
Shout out Brad.
Big shout out.
Brad Galley and his show
guy.
actually got to see him at the Rocket Classic. Guys, though, just real quick, though, this is exactly what I was talking about the whole Tarek Skubal situation a couple weeks ago when I said I was out on him. Like, and obviously we didn't know this.
All right.
But now we understand that Scott Harris, and I think it was years ago, I think it was after the first Cy Young, so maybe 2 years ago, they offered him a deal. There's been all these reports about, well, there's been this contract offer, all this. They went to him with the deal, and Tarek Skubal and Scott Boras were the two that said, we don't want a deal. We want to get to free agency. That's why I was so mad a couple weeks ago when Skubal was like, I want to be in Detroit. And then all of a sudden it comes out that, hey, Scott Harris and his camp and the Tigers were told by by Boras or whatever his name is that they don't want to get a deal done until free agency. So what are the Tigers supposed to do at that point, guys? Like, realistically, that's what my issue was before for Tarek coming out and saying, I want to be in Detroit. I want to be in Detroit. I want to be in Detroit. Well, now we know you guys told Scott Harris you guys do not want to talk any contracts until you are a free agent. And Scott Harris, guys, he's fully correct in the point of, hey, you respect the player in that. I'm not mad at Tarek for wanting to do that. Go get your bag. Go test free agency. Do the whole Boris route and go see what the whole market is for you. Do that. But you can't be like, hey, I want to be in Detroit, and also say that to the GM when the GM's like, hey, we want to work with you on a deal. Like, can we get something done? And then even the next step, Caleb, this isn't me coming at you, but this is just kind of a fact. Yesterday, 0.0% chance of him resigning. They're going to have conversations. They were always going to have conversations. Boris and them went to them probably a year ago or whenever they wanted to start the contract negotiations and said, hey, let's just wait till free agency. Okay, fine. So they knew they were probably always going to sell Skubal, and two, they were always going to have conversations in free agency about him returning to Detroit. Both are true. That's what that's the takeaway from that. And I'm glad someone asked about it. And I'm so glad that Scott Harris kind of confirmed the whole situation there.
Yeah, I'm going to try to say this without it. I think it's ridiculous that even like the fact that you think that Skubal will come back has a chance. I think he has
just said it.
Yeah, but you got to think what this whole do you
remember caveats matter, bro.
Do you remember the arbitration? When you heard Tarek Skubal talk about the arbitration, when they were fighting, when they had to go to court over this, Tarek Skubal basically said, "You guys try to go in that room." That was that's ugly. Like, that's the Tigers basically saying, this is why we think you don't deserve money, and that's why Boris saying, that's why I think you do deserve money. That hinders a relationship. And then this whole negotiation stuff, I don't think Boris wants to deal with the Tigers. I don't think Skubal wants to deal with the Tigers. Yeah, I think Skubal liked it here, but I'm going to stick to it. I think there's a 0.000% chance he comes back. I don't think they're going to give him a competitive offer. Every team in the MLB should at least throw him an offer out there. I think every team will, but they're not going to be as competitive as, the Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, teams like that. It's just not even going to be relatively close.
I think No, go on.
Oh,
You
so
have a
I just
response
don't-
to that. Yeah, go ahead.
with that, I just don't know how you listen to Scott Harris literally just say that, like, we've went to them about contracts and we were under their impression, we were told there is nothing there. Like, we want to wait till free agency. That's a fact. There's no, like, and then if the arbitration stuff, even then, if a year or two ago they were told by Boris, hey, we're waiting till free agency, then yeah, the Tigers are going to try and fight the arbitration, and so should Skubal. Like, there was never going to be an agreement in place on a long-term deal because Scott Harris just confirmed that their camp was told we do not want to have conversations about long-term talks until free agency. Like, he just told you that.
Yeah,
so
but
arbitration,
let's
there's
say-
going to be a fight back, and the Tiger, again, it's like the Brad Holmes of the Gibbs thing. Brad's not going to just roll over and give Gibbs his money. Scott Harris and them aren't just going to roll over and say, here you go, here's the, like, no, you're going to, like, that's how it kind of worked. I get it, they were far off, but, like, you got to see both sides to it at the end of the day.
Well, that's it. Like, they were far off. Let's say he was a Los Angeles Dodger. Let's say, and they offered him 8 for $400. He's not hitting free agency. Like, he's signing that contract extension. So context does matter, and you know, they were just far off on a contract, and that's why he said, yeah, we're going to free agency. But if the Tigers offered him 8 for $400, he's a Detroit Tiger. Like, he's signing that extension. He's not going to free agency.
By the way, shout out Broder in the chat. This is a great point by Broder. He said, if he was going to hit free agency all along, why in the world did they not trade him 2 seasons ago, 1.5 winters ago, season ago, or this past winter?
That's part of it. And also from Terry Skubal's camp, if we're just going to test free agency, why would I spend all my time over the next year and a half saying, oh, we want to be with the Tigers, oh, we're open to listening to offers from the Tigers? The only reason you go to free agency is to test the market and see how much you can get. And maybe the team that you're already on wants to meet that number or exceed that number. And I do think there is caveats between the two. Yes, Scott Harris told us that. It does give us a little bit of insight. But I also think it's two sides to the story. And I think you looked at a situation in which Terry Skubal may have wanted to stay with the Tigers, but Scott Boras, just being who he is and his track record, was like, ultimately, unless the Tigers meet an offer that appeals to us, that is always the plan, to test free agency. But I don't think it was a lack of, oh, we just not going to listen to anything from the Tigers. I think they were open, but eventually it just came to a point that, okay, they're not going to re-sign. They're going to take us to arbitration. It's starting to get ugly now. And the stance was the stance throughout this year. But I just think it's two sides to that argument.
Yeah, I think there is two sides, but I don't think Scott Harris would go to the media and lie. He wouldn't. Yeah. And for him to be like, we were under the impression that they want to get to free agency. They offered it. They did. He literally said, we offered a deal. And I think the report was after the first signing, the deal was offered. And whether it was a low ball or not, when they offered it, he says, after we offered the first deal, we got told we were under the impression that that's what they want to do. So Scott Harris could have been like, here's another offer. If you're told, like, if you come to me with something, KG, and I'm like, hey, I want to do it this way, you're not going to keep coming to me to do it because it's like, hey, this is it. We're going to get.
Yeah, but if I got a year and a half, I'm not just going to give up either.
But if they're under the impression, and maybe Scott reached back out throughout the year about trying to get something going, and again, he's not going to lie to the media and say, hey, I was under the impression this whole time. Like, no, because then guess what Boris can do? He can come out tomorrow or today and be like, that's wrong. We never told them that. We tried to get a deal done. Why haven't they done that then?
True, but
so like Scott Harris is not lying. Like, that's where my point is. It's like, I get it. Yeah. There's 2 sides to it. Scott Harris, though, literally straight up said, for the last couple of years, we were under the impression that they want to get to free agency. So, like, even the arbitration stuff, that has nothing to do with it, too, because they were under the impression that they want to get to free agency.
But if that was the case, why wouldn't Scott Boras just come out and say that 2 years ago, hey, he's going to market no matter what? That's not going to hurt his value at all. Why would, like I said, why would you spend a whole year and a half I'm with you. I don't know why, but Scott Harris isn't lying to the media. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm with you. Why would you do that?
Lying. Why would Scuba go out there and say, I want to? That's my whole issue. Why would you all year come out and say, I want to be in Detroit? But then now we get the news from our president of baseball operations that your team was never willing to negotiate after the first deal.
But how do we know they just didn't take it that way? They maybe took the approach that Scott was coming.
We know it because Scott Harris.
We're taking it as if you just want to go.
Listen, you're playing. You two are playing off just how do we know. I'm playing off what we do know and what Scott Harris said. I'm playing off a fact of what our GM and baseball operations said. He said what we literally just played, that they were under the impression that they were not going to do a deal until free agency. If we want to go off what ifs, that's fine. I'm going to do my job based off of what Scott Harris just said. I don't think Scott Harris is going to go to Raj in the media and say, yeah, they never want to get a deal done.
No, I feel that.
He's not going to lie.
Even with that, there's still a lot of gray area.
There is, but we don't know the gray area. All we know is that after the first deal that was offered years ago, his camp backed out and said, we're not negotiating anymore. And they didn't negotiate once, it sounds like, because he said, we offered them once, and then they were like, boom, we're out. We're going to free agency. And then all year, Tarek Skubal's going to sit up here and be like, I want to be in Detroit. I want to be in Detroit. Like, even if the first deal was lowballed, hey, let's negotiate and figure this thing out if you really want to be in Detroit.
Well, no,
they backed out and didn't want to.
That's what it is. They were probably insulted by the – I mean, again, two things can be true, but probably what it was, and again, this is I know Scott Harris didn't say that, but again, he can't.
Scott Boras probably saw the offer.
It's
like,
two sides.
But again,
that's all I'm saying.
If the Tigers offered him 8 for $400, he's a Detroit Tiger right now.
Agreed, that first one, but as soon as that first deal is done and they're like, oh, that's a low ball, like you can at least negotiate. And then at that point, what they did, instead of trying to negotiate, they just said, we're done, we'll go to free agency.
Well, because it was
so
probably
for
such
years
a
they
low
just
ball.
never
So far away where there was why would they waste their time on that? Why would they sign the extension if they're so far away?
It was 4 years, $80 million. Like, come on, bro. We talk about a $400 million guy.
I get it, but you still have to negotiate. Like, how negotiations work. One team that wants the most money comes in at a really high offer, or a player comes in at a high offer, or the team, they obviously don't want to pay a bunch. They're going to come in with a low offer. Like, that's how it works.
But not that low. Low offer for me is 8 years at $375.
Disrespectful or not, though.
Then we can talk.
Disrespectful or not, though, you go into that offer and you probably still negotiate. Their camp chose to say, we're cutting the negotiations off. We'll go to free agency. They did that last offseason. That was when they said it was after the first Cy Young. That was the first deal they offered him. So they went a whole year without even talking about negotiations because Scott Harris was under the impression that they don't want to sign a deal.
Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation, of course, and more. But what do we got, Caleb, here?
Let's do Amnesia and All Day.
All right, let me tell the people about Amnesia and their greatest new product called the Switch. Not the Nintendo Switch. This one you can have a little bit more fun with, but it's their newest launch, and it's featuring liquid diamonds. And with 2 chambers and 2 different flavor profiles, you can enjoy the left, you can enjoy the right, or come together and just enjoy both at the same damn time. You got the option, but they giving it to you. And discover your new favorite with the Switch by Amnesia.
And let me tell you guys about Founders All Day IPA, man. It marks the 15th year anniversary right now for Founders Brewing's legendary All Day IPA. It's an amazing drink, guys. It's crisp, citrusy, and refreshing with a perfectly balanced taste at 4.7 ABV. It's built to go the entire distance. You can get $5 shorts at any Art and Jake's in Michigan right now, Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And as always, please drink responsibly.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
Wake you up every Monday through Friday on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. That's right, Big D Energy has moved to mornings. Get your morning dose of Neil's tone and Sean's insanity. Weekdays 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. 2 Detroit sports legends coming together for the best Detroit sports morning show there is. Big D Energy, waking you up weekdays on Detroit's #1 sports network.
Loom Cannabis, y'all know what it is by now, and summer got a serious upgrade, and so can the fall if you want to partake in these new buzzing energy drinks from Loom. Still the same buzzings that you love, 7.5 milligrams of pure THC, but they have paired that with 100 milligrams of caffeine from green tea extract, but it's not the fake stuff. No artificial sweeteners, bold in flavor, light in calories, and you can try it in flavors like peach and raspberry lemonade. You can get it at all 40 locations across the state of Michigan. All you gotta do to learn more is just go to loom.com, and while you're there shopping a little bit, make sure you use promo code WSN30 to get 30% off your entire order. That's online or in store. Loom Cannabis.
Supreme Lending. If you're making a massive decision like buying a home or refinancing, Supreme Lending is the team you should trust. With Chris and Chad, all you got to do when you're applying for an eligible loan, mention Woodward Sports, you'll receive up to $500 off your appraisal. To score the deal, call the numbers on your screen. Talk to Chad and Chris at Supreme Lending today. We're back. It's Crunch Time on Woodward Sports. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the like button on the stream.
Yes.
Great conversations today. A lot on Gibbs. Obviously, that was fun. Easy joined the show. We talk a lot of Tigers. I know people in the chat are talking right now.
People are saying, Booner, why would – are you saying that Scott Harris wouldn't lie?
Well, can I actually give my take on that?
Why would he lie, though?
But you know what I would say to that is if people in the chat believe he's lying, the ball's in Scooble and Scott Boras is court now.
That's what I just put in the chat.
Yep.
So, like,
then
if you're a
GM,
this is why it's like you're not lying. And people are like, well, GMs lie all the time. Yeah, like draft, like you don't want to give up your game plan for things, all that, so you're going to lie to the media or work kind of that line there. But in a situation like this, you're not going to straight – because Boras, Scooble, they could come out today and literally be like, that's not what happened. What are you talking about? And now as a GM and as someone who's running an organization, you look like a real jackass at that point.
No,
like,
for sure.
You cannot sit there and do that. You have to be able to make sure that you're telling the – you can't lie, dude.
No,
you can't.
I don't think he's lying per se. And, I mean, if they were to come out and check him at this point, it really don't matter because Scooble has been traded. But the point I was trying to make is that, yeah, he might not be lying. I just think the organization could have interpreted this whole situation wrong. And that's just me. That's my opinion. I could be totally wrong in that. But I just think there is two sides to this story.
Again,
as much as I want to defend this organization, I just know the history of how they have handled these things, and it hasn't been good. That's all.
Again,
that's all.
Point is,
but yeah,
you're not, a GM is not lying. I get all that, KG.
I'm not saying he's lying. I'm just saying they could have.
Again, the whole point though to the chat is a GM's not going to go out there and lie to the media. You're not going to sit there and lie about what happened because it can get fact checked real quick. And as a GM, guess what? You need the trust of your fan base, organization, agents, players, all that. It's not going to happen. So if he said what he said, like, yeah, maybe he interpreted it and the Tigers interpreted it wrong. Well, he's not lying, though.
Let's get to some of these super chats. We have Michael Weary, appreciate member for 29 months, which is crazy.
Shout
it's over
out.
2 years. We appreciate
the OG.
you. He said, easy. O wins games, D wins chips. Remember that. Appreciate it, Michael. It's facts. Joe P., appreciate the 5. Says, why do we pick up Gibbs' fifth-year option when we could have extended him instead and front-loaded the contract? Front-loading a running back deal makes sense.
They might front-load it. Who knows?
I don't know.
They've done every contract differently.
Yeah.
Every single one that they've done, it's been different. And Mike Disner is really good at what he does, and he's the one that kind of puts these contracts in place, and he's kind of at the helm of that.
He seems to be like the cap magician.
Yeah.
Adam, appreciate the 5. Says, Tigers can now officially sell us on hope with Zaire. Pizza Boy's wet dream. Cheap Scotty can blow major nozzle.
All right. That's an interesting chat.
All right, cool.
How about that?
Shout out.
I see. Now I don't know if he says Pizza Boy. That's at Illich, but
don't look at Caleb.
Well, I'm just saying, like that. Obviously,
see how they do.
I'll move on.
Disrespectful.
No. I'll move on.
I thought he was talking about me. Honestly.
Matt Broder, I want to live in Michigan forever. I love it here, but if I was told I would be handed a winning lottery ticket if I moved to a new city in 1 year, I'm putting my house on the market in 2 seconds.
Broder also
but Broder,
said,
well, I would say, is he talking about Scooble?
I'm assuming yes.
But Broder, according to Scooble, he wanted to be in Detroit. He didn't want that winning lottery ticket. He always wanted to stay here, according to Scooble. So he
Especially
actually
if you
chose
knew the
to not
Tigers
do
were
it.
never going to offer anything competitive.
I'm just going based off of the facts of the situation that gets put out there. I'm not going off what ifs or anything. I'm going off of Scooble said he wants to be here. Scott Harris said that they wanted to try and get a deal. They were under the impression they didn't want to get a deal done. So I don't know who to believe.
Yeah, Booner. Broder said in the chat, I wish he was lying. He just admitted to a fireable offense.
Yeah, I'm with Broder on that too. Like if they then got negotiations and sports was like, nope, that should have happened last year. Then, like it should have happened earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Drake in the chat. Could you imagine if we matched the highest contract and Scuba comes back to Detroit? That value return would be insane. Literally no reason we don't find the money to offer him the house.
No chance in hell.
I love the thinking though, Drake.
No chance in hell.
I think they offer him something.
Yesterday on the show,
I think they're going to offer him something.
We were arguing, or they were arguing yesterday, 5%.
I said it was a 5%.
No, as a matter of fact, they better not offer him shit.
I think they're going.
Why? It's like, why would you trade him
to get the assets?
I get it, but
then he comes back.
To your point, if you were never going to win, and you knew you were never going to win the World Series this year, get the assets, and we'll trade. We'll sign you this offseason.
To me, it's doing it ass backwards though. When you could have had him under contract.
No doubt. But if he's under the impression he's going to hit free agency, it's like, all right, well, we're not going to risk leaving you for nothing, so we'll get something for you.
I get it.
And then we'll talk to you in free agency.
Yeah.
Which I again, likelihood of that,
dial tone,
slim to none.
They get straight dial tone.
It can be. We can have our hopes and dreams. That's fine.
Dodgers gonna resign him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
he's a Dodger.
All right. So
I mean, again,
another pizza bet on this one. He will not be a Dodger.
Look at him trying to get his pizza back. He already owes one.
Yeah,
they can still make the. I could still.
I was about to say, I just want my pizza now, but
they're 2.5 back.
The pizza might cancel out.
You're right. I don't want to cancel out.
They might end up making the playoffs and get a wild card spot.
You look at Booner trying to get back in. Booner trying to get back in.
Booner, remember what I said? And I'm going to stick to my word. I said it. I think you asked me like a month ago, like, when are you going to be back in on the Tigers? I'm back in because they sold. They traded Skubal. Like, I'm back in now, whatever, because I didn't want them to start winning a ton of games before, and we talked about it a ton. I didn't want them to start winning and then Scott Harris, and it sounds like he made the decision Wednesday. Like, if they won that game, like, they would be in it.
Crazy.
Like, I didn't want them to keep winning and then not, sell at the deadline. But now that that's over, now it's kind of just house money. Whatever happens, happens. So, they're playing good ball.
If they make the playoffs, that deal still stands, and you have to be on stream, not watching.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. I'm a man of my word. That's fine. That's totally
the deal
is
does
the
not
man
go
that cashed
away.
his playoff bet already.
I did, but our bet still stands. I didn't cash out on our bet.
All right,
that's still. Listen, I was comfortable
fine.
cash out on that bet because I knew I still had the bet of you guys not watching the game on stream.
Well, you did say also. Well, you were getting close to. You were at a point. You're like, shit, this. You're like, boys, I might get you a pizza. Now, like, there's hope.
I almost brought it in last week. After the Orioles 7-0 game, I literally said on Thursday, I was like, I'm bringing it in.
Yeah,
they're 2.5 back now.
Booner, can we
hold on the za. Hold on the za.
I'll give you some juice on this bet, too. So, if Skubal isn't a Tiger next year, so it's basically Tigers versus the field. No, listen. If Skubal is not a Tiger, you owe me a pizza. If Skubal is a Tiger, I owe you one pizza every week for 10 weeks.
Damn.
So I'm giving you 10 to 1 odds.
10 to 1 odds. He did the Neil bet. He did the me and Neil bet.
I'm giving you 10 to 1 odds.
I don't want to eat 10 pizzas straight. Can I get just 10?
You can get them whenever you want.
Can we just do 10 pizzas at any point I want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready for
it.
I'll take the deal.
You got to take
that deal. That's so whack. He did the me and Neil
That's
deal.
an incredible deal.
Because worst case, you owe him a pizza.
Best case, I get 10 free pizzas.
You get 10
next year.
zas anytime you want.
And also, worst case, you have to see Tiger Skubal pitch for another team.
I'm already doing it now. I'm literally doing it tonight with the Dodgers. Like, he's pitching tonight.
Yeah, he is pitching tonight.
Yep. Which, by the way, hey, we'll get to mailbag. Drop the mailbag questions in the chat. Anything you guys got, thoughts, opinions,
What
anything.
a deal from me, man.
And we will answer those mailbags, but we got to take a break. We'll be back in a couple minutes. What do we got, Caleb?
Tell us about Yaldo.
I'm going to tell you about Yaldo. If you've been thinking about LASIK, Yaldo Eye Center is the way to go. You see D-Mac there. They're taking care of guys like D-Mac, and you got to go with the people you trust. And Woodward Sports' own Darren McCarty trusted Dr. Yaldo to get his vision right, and he's been raving about the results ever since. LASIK is quick, virtually painless, and most procedures only take about 8 minutes. Many patients are back to seeing clearly as soon as the very next day. LASIK surgery for only $1,999 per eye, regardless of your prescription. You'll save so much money in the long term with glasses and contacts. So call or text 248-553-9800 today or schedule your free consultation by visiting YaldaWyCenter.com. Yalda Y Center, the vision experts.
For more Detroit Tigers coverage, make sure you subscribe to Woodward Tigers on YouTube. All Tigers, all the time. For the hardcore Detroit sports fans who can't get enough of the Motor City's teams. All season long, you'll get non-stop Tigers content from on-field interviews, post-game reactions, and roundtable insight from Woodward Sports.
I hate to tell you, energy drinks, but you're about to be crushed. Thrive nootropic energy pouches are here to change the game by delivering steady, focused performance in a clean white pouch for a fraction of the cost. And unlike other brands, Thrive comes from an American company that's been leading the way for over 30 years. So stop drinking gut rot energy drinks and why don't you thrive for a change? It's just better.
It is Joey with Woodward Sports, and in 2017, I trusted Dr. Yeldo with my eyes, and it was the best decision I've ever made. No more glasses or contacts, just clear vision every single day.
Hi, I'm Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. If I had LASIK back in the day, I probably would have won 8 Stanley Cups. So if you're thinking about LASIK, do it now. Tell them, Doc.
Come see me. You have nothing to lose. It's a free consultation.
For a limited time, LASIK only $19.99 per eye. Call Yeldo Eye Center. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you, but please don't wait like I did. Call them now.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, it's time to upgrade your game with the Thrive Energy Pouches, guys. Get rid of all that other energy stuff and get Thrive Energy Pouches. It packs over 300 milligrams of clean and smart caffeine, including alpha GPC and L-theanine. Guys, I have Thrive on me 24/7. You can find them online. You see that on the screen there, dipstop.com. You can use our promo code WSN to get 15% off that entire order. And you can also find them at all Market Fresh and Market Square locations. It's Thrive. They just effing work.
And then let me tell you about our friends over at Water Hazard, but specifically Founders Water Hazard, the best craft cocktail there is. Vodka cocktail, by the way, so if you enjoy that. It tastes delicious. 5%, citrusy, refreshing, gluten-free, best served. You drop a little lemon in there, whatever you prefer. Get them on the golf course, or you can get them at Art & Jake's $5 cans in Michigan on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Please drink responsibly. We're back. Drop those mailbag questions, and we will answer them. Jay Hart, start us off. Mailbag, KG and Jeff, this is by far the best Spider-Man, and yes, it's better than No Way Home. Yes, I love all 3 of the Spider-Mans coming together, but to go 2 hours without knowing the villain is crazy.
No spoilers.
No
spoilers. I'm going on Wednesday night to see it.
Spoilers.
But do you think it's the best Spider-Man?
No. I still think No Way Home is better just because of how they just brought everything together coming out of Endgame.
Yep.
You got all of the Spider-Mans from every fucking universe in there. It was just a lot going on with that movie. But like I said, this is firmly number 2, and I think in a couple years people will argue that this is the best Spider-Man.
I heard a take from someone I know. They said it's the best, so he's not alone, J. Hart. I agree with KG, though.
Yeah.
I do not think so, but it's an amazing movie, so
Yeah.
go see it.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it for Boone. He's got to go see it.
Come on, Boone. You late.
Wednesday. I'm going Wednesday.
You're
It's been a
late,
busy
man.
week.
Danny G. Mailbag Booner, will you sell me your hat for $1?
I know what he's doing. He's doing the Scott Harris move. How about this? $1? How about this? $50?
You know what? We're going to market.
Now
Just never mind. We're going to market.
Oh,
Just shut
man,
it down.
man.
It's over with.
Yeah, that's fair. Xavier Mailbag, we know where Jeff stands on Gibbs. What price tag or guaranteed money would everyone else get off of a contract?
I'm so interested in the Gibbs deal because you just never. I don't know, dude. At 25, I don't know. I don't know I guess I don't even know what the question is he's trying to ask there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I guess he's trying to ask where he thinks the Gibbs deal is going to be. It's going to be 25. Like people are trying to make the best of it. It's going to be 25, guys.
Oh, what price tag or guarantee money would get everyone else off of a contract? So maybe what would make everyone be like, I'm good?
Yeah.
I guess?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Is there a limit for you guys?
What?
Or are we blank check guys?
I'm
With
not
Gibbs?
blank check, obviously.
No, for
Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm
like,
not a
what's the number where you're like, ooh?
25. I think anything 25 or more, dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's going to probably happen, but I'm still a little like, that's tough.
Like we talked about the number 25, but yeah, now it's actually in play. I think anything over like 26, 27 would scare me a little bit.
Let's see. Shad Mailbag, should the Lions avoid getting the best players on the roster since Super Bowl teams have won without them? Per Jeff Woodward Sports.
Shout out to chat, man.
Shout out Sean. He's calling me Jeff Illich. Sean's been on my ass the last couple
Shout
weeks.
out Sean.
Shout out to you, bro. No, well, if that's how you're interpreting it, then yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Short King Pet Sing, mailbag, Spider-Man or Odyssey? Oh, Spider-Man.
Spider.
Oh, Odyssey.
Odyssey is the better movie?
Yeah. See how you jumped quick on that, but
Yeah.
Odyssey, I would give the edge to Odyssey. Just because it's close, they're different. But Odyssey, the story, the actors in it.
Right.
And I think Christopher Nolan did an amazing job with that movie.
Absolutely.
The story was
Boy,
incredible.
they was mad. Helen of Troy was black, boy.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, they was mad as shit. But I do think they was mad as hell.
Crazy.
But which is it's a fantasy movie for crying out loud. But I do think the Spider-Man movie went a long ways in kind of not saving Marvel, but kind of repairing their reputation. So if you want to go by that, then technically Spider-Man is the better movie. It did more for Marvel. So
yeah, I mean, once you see it, because you loved Odyssey, it was a great movie.
Really good.
I think everyone. I don't know. I think Odyssey would probably be the one.
I'll find out Wednesday night.
That movie, man, I haven't seen a movie. Odyssey, it's a long movie, and I do miss. I had to get adjusted because now movies are getting like short, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you see a 3-hour movie, it's just been like all the great movies of all time are usually
to
long.
me, it didn't feel like 3
No,
hours.
it didn't feel like
because
it
there was a
flew.
story that like fully
Yeah,
it
didn't feel
In
like
the
you
first
the whole
hour
time.
of the movie, they kind of sped through to get you to a certain point, but after that first hour, it just really settles in and you really get the full scope. But
And then even the last hour was like the best hour.
Yeah.
So like
Yes.
by when time you were like, oh, this is long, boom, action started, and you're like, here we go. So it didn't even feel like
came
that.
home, stop playing with Matt Damon. That was a crazy role for Matt Damon too. You don't
Yeah.
see him in a lot of roles like that.
No,
He
yeah.
killed that shit. Absolutely
did.
killed it.
I like Matt Damon, but that movie had me. I got a lot of respect for him after that movie.
Yeah.
Even more because he bodied that. Even all the other, they have a ton of good actors in that movie. If you have not seen Odyssey, go
stacked,
see
who's
that
who?
movie. It's stacked.
And
Tom Holland having the summer of a lifetime. Let me tell you, he was in Odyssey and Spider-Man.
back to back. It's like back-to-back months. Too.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll say
and John Berthal too. He
I was
in it
just
too.
gonna say my guy John Berthal.
I love
having
him,
a
bro.
hell of a
I
summer,
love him,
man.
bro.
I think he was in something else too this year.
Well, he was in.
I think he's gonna be in another.
He was in a
movie.
top 10 Netflix show. It was a limited series I watched. He
He's
was the main
killing
character in
it.
that.
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
obviously the Punisher stuff. He was in Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, Zendaya was in Odyssey too.
Oh my God!
Yeah, dog,
They're all just helping get each other their own roles.
right.
You know what I mean?
Fucking
she
crazy.
was. Yeah, go see that movie if you haven't seen it already. Joe P, appreciate the $2. Says Odyssey or Disclosure Day? It's
All right, it's Odyssey.
Odyssey,
You don't hand
hands
out the
down. I ain't even
disclosure
seen
day.
Disclosure
How
Day.
long until I live that one down? That's on me.
They said it's the greatest.
I don't know what else I'm going to do about that one.
Yeah, people didn't like it. I like Disclosure Day. I don't know. I mean, it's not like. I made it clear it's not like all time, but it's a good movie. People just wanted more action, dude. That's what it
They
is.
wanted the people wanted
They
the
wanted, like,
aliens
an
earlier
alien-
in the movie.
Yeah, they did.
And the aliens came at the end of the movie.
But the movie wasn't about. It wasn't about that. It was completely different. But, yeah, it is what it is. Let's see. Shot asked another one, by the way.
Here we
Mailbag,
go.
which running back prospect would help the Lions more in early 7th round or Jahmyr trash-ass Gibbs per job?
So Jeff, you just hate Jahmyr Gibbs.
Dude, I do not.
Shot,
Jeff
man.
Shot!
Jeff Illich.
Where do you rank him
Jeff
among
Illich.
NFL
It
running
is
backs?
Jeff.
He's right in that conversation with Bijan, Jahmyr, and like Saquon. Those are like the three.
Are you sure?
Yeah, those are the three. If you want to put him on,
Who are the top? Who's the
Bijan
number one coach
cool.
in the NFC North?
Okay, that I got flamed on.
Yeah.
Which, like, by the way, people are on my ass because I picked Ben Johnson. If you hate
I
that, that's
figured,
fine.
yeah.
I don't mind that. You can.
That's
hate
a
that
very
take.
Jeff answer.
But
Very Jeff answer.
But here's the thing: there's like 4 other people that agree with me in the video. Comments ripping me a new one. It's like just waiting to get.
Well, it's because, dude, everything Bears. You are like
Everything Bears is
Yes,
crazy.
dude. Who would you rather have right now, Caleb or Jared Goff?
Well, Caleb. But if they played for the frickin' astronauts, okay, I would pick that.
But it's just like everything. It's like you would pick Bears more often.
It's not the Bears. It's just the fact that the question you're asking me is like.
There was another
they're just
one too that
both
we
to
talked
be on the
about on
Bears.
Friday that I can't remember.
Would you rather? Oh, sorry.
No,
Bro.
go ahead,
you
Caleb.
might know it.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask another question. Would you rather have Kyle Monangai on his rookie deal right now or Swift at 25?
Let's get out of here.
You're
bro.
not beating the allegation.
Hey, Nitty Gritty
Nick-
gave $2.
Yeah.
Said Booner Disclosure Day sucked. It didn't suck, but it wasn't the greatest movie of all time.
Let's get out of here. Appreciate you guys so much. Even if you disagree with me, we appreciate you hanging out with us, talking ball. We'll be back tomorrow on a Wednesday, 11 a.m. Until then, Braylon Anson, Heavyweights, check them out as well. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.
The next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.